Hey, welcome to the Duke It Out podcast. We are back again with another comedian, another Akron, Cleveland comedian. Go ahead, introduce yourself real quick, and we'll get right on into it.
All right, I'm VanDerHorst.
Cam VanDerHorst, what is up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. We had that issue with my phone died on the way here.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. I gave you, as you said, the boomer.
Yeah, you gave me every time I buy like car parts, like somewhere, I find somebody on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and I have to buy like door panels for one of my cars or something.
Yeah,
and they're always like, you can tell these people they're like retired. They don't have like a lot of friends. They're just like, they don't want to let the one person off their property. It's kind of serial killer vibes. And I know I'm going to be this guy someday, but they want to keep the conversation rolling. They're like, do you know how to get home? You just got to do this, this, this. I'm like, I have a thing that tells me how to get home.
Yeah.
Like exactly. I gave you money. You gave me the dash pad for my car. We're never talking again.
Do you want to have a beer?
Yeah.
You want to have a quick drink?
It's like, do you want to come into the house? Did you bring anybody with you? Do people know where you are?
Yeah, do people know where you are? Oh my gosh.
What kind of beer?
Honestly.
Is it Miller?
Dude, I was watching some TikToks earlier today, and it was these like Reddit threads. They were just going through them, and it was like, what's the scariest near-death experience, or like near-death or near kidnapping experience you ever had? And like it was just like kids telling stories about some guy asking for help finding their lost dog, and luckily their neighbor ran out and shoot the guy off, or they would have been kidnapped. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, dude, if you would have walked up to me and I was like 8 years old and said, hey man, I lost my dog in the neighborhood, you want to help me find it? I'd been like, dude, let's go look.
Yeah, I want to be helpful. I want to be a good kid.
Yeah.
Plus, dogs are cool, so I would want to.
Yeah. If you asked me to find your cat, I'd say, bro, I'll kick your cat. And
I'm more of a cat person than a dog person.
You got a cat and a dog, but I think it's funny to make jokes about kicking cats. My dad's a cat hater.
Weird. It always weirds me out how dog people like try to be like, your pet shits in a box. It's like some kind of own, when like I'm constantly looking out my door when it's like a fucking blizzard, or like if I'm up writing and it's 2 a.m. and like this asshole's walking their fucking dog in a raincoat. Like, oh yeah,
that seems like
sad that my cat shits in a box and I got to sift through it and put it in a bag every 3 days from the comfort of my own home.
Dude, I think like the box is like, I mean, it's, yeah, you got to clean it up. That sucks. But like my dogs like to make eye contact with you when they're pooping. Like they like
that's real weird. Yeah,
they like specifically like they like will go out in the yard and you're just sitting there waiting on them, and they're doing their own thing. As soon as they start pooping,
you get the weird thing where you meet, especially like female dogs. It's 3 female dogs that I've encountered in my lifetime, and all of them were like spaniel breeds, right? And if I made the mistake of making eye contact with them, they just immediately piss.
What?
I think that's like part of the reason like why I'm not a dog person too. Like I've never made eye contact with a cat and just immediately pissed.
Yeah. Cats do be like, well, going to sneak behind the couch and pee in. So, like certain.
What the fuck kind of cats do you have?
No, it's not like anything I've experienced.
Okay.
But it's probably bad owners of these animals.
Yeah, probably.
My dad
Cats
houses most of my life.
Cats will get upset with you if you don't. And I mean, like, cats are so low maintenance. You've got to clean their litter box. Like, you got to sift it, like, every 3 days. Mm-hmm. And, like, if you wait, like, a fucking week, they'll start, like, shitting outside of the box, pissing places they shouldn't, because it's a dirty place. They don't want to go in there, especially if you have an enclosed box like we do. Yeah. And it's like, you can't blame them for not wanting to shit in a dirty place.
My cat waits at the door to go outside like a dog.
Really?
Yeah, because it was raised by a dog.
Okay.
I've got a 6-year-old lab, and the cat's like 1.5 years old. And so when we got the cat, it literally just kind of like hung out with the dog all the time. So like it'll cuddle with the dog, hang out with the dog. So it's got some dog tendencies.
Yeah.
So it waits at the door for you to let it out to go to the bathroom. Like it won't use its litter box.
It's outdoor cats. Like I'm not a big proponent of outdoor cats, but I like my neighbor's cat. I love my neighbor's cat. She walks over when I'm working on cars and stuff. Outdoor cats definitely like seem to be. You either never see them or they're like really outgoing. Like they definitely have like the very they'll stick to you like Velcro, like kind of like a dog does. Because my wife wants a dog, and it's like if I'm out of town or like I'm like you're gonna take care of the dog, and I get to pick the breed because I'm gonna have to like look up the thing on it. Like I don't like the dogs that have like the slimy fur, or the ones that's like slobber, the ones that are like really dumb. And we got, like I said, we got cats too.
I love like labs, golden retrievers. Like they're dumb.
Yeah, I do. I like working. No, those are good. We just don't have enough space for one. I like working dogs, so like I like labs and retrievers. But I grew up with terriers.
You did?
Yeah. So I said we're gonna get a Scottish Terrier because my wife.
Medium-sized dog, right?
It's like it's like 30 pounds.
30, yeah,
like a heavy one's 30 pounds
So
if it's overweight. It's like 22 pounds.
Those middleweight dogs I always find to be like very, very like chill and very like nice in the household. Some people have big dogs and the dogs have too much energy and they can't.
I do like the big dogs that are like couch potatoes.
Yeah,
like Great Danes. Great Danes will have its ass on the couch and its front paws like standing up on the ground. That's the coolest.
Dude, the sad thing about Great Danes is like their average lifespan is like I think it's like 7 or 8 years. It's
Yeah.
It's like that's not enough time. Like I mean, dogs in general it's not enough time. 10, 12, 13 years. It's like dang, that's too short. But it makes like I wanted a Great Dane for a little while and I was like, dude, I think I'd like my dog's
it'd break
now.
me. Yeah, I couldn't handle
that.
I couldn't handle that. It's the same reason like I love bulldogs. I love the personality of bulldogs.
They're short lived too, huh?
Yeah, real short. They're like breathing issues. I mean, it's like 5 or 6. You'll get 5 or 6 years out of a bulldog.
That's sad.
A purebred bulldog.
That's super sad.
But yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, I get to pick the breed, and you have to be the one to take care of it. And she fucking called my bluff. So like now we're looking at like puppies, and I hope she gets over it and doesn't.
It's not gonna have it.
I hear like
like
women in their early 30s like talk about baby fever, and like my wife's got puppy fever, and I'm just like.
That's just step one.
People talk about how cute puppies are. I don't think puppies get cute until they're like 10 or 12 weeks old and they get into that awkward adolescent phase where like their ears and their paws are too big and the rest of them is tiny.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Oh, yeah.
Like a 2-week-old puppy's like kind of gross. It's just...
Yeah, but you can't get them till 8, right? Unless
you can't get them until like 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I've never seen actually a puppy go home at 8 weeks personally.
Really?
10 weeks, yeah.
I'm
like very like I don't really get into the. We've always. Not always. Like, our cats came from somebody. We got our cats from somebody. We didn't have our cats as kittens. But, like, people talk about, like, oh, like, don't get purebred dogs. Adopt, don't shop. I think that's ridiculous. Because, like, if you're investing, like, this is going to be my best buddy for, like, 12, 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
I want to have, like, some idea of what to expect as far as, like, and, you know, things happen.
Tendencies.
But, like, health, personality, temperament, like, all it, like, I don't... It just weirds me out how people like.
Yeah, like we have an English lab. My family does.
Okay.
And they typically get like hip problems later in life.
Yeah, hip dysplasia is like a lot of. It's a problem with a lot of purebred dogs. Hip dysplasia for like somebody who's not a dog person. It's weird how much I know about dogs. My parents do like rescue collies, so.
Okay.
But like. Growing up, we had the terriers, and then when I moved out, they got the big collies.
Okay.
It's whatever, but like, yeah, there's like a ton of dogs that get hip dysplasia.
What we do is we give them like different, like I think it like coconut oil and different fats and different things that are my mom's like really into nutrition in general. So like she did a little research for the dog, different things that'll make it less likely and easier on it.
Yeah, it's so wild. I know that a lot with like pet food. Like a lot of cat food has like charcoal in it, and that like ruins like kidney function, liver function, and it's like a surprising amount of cat foods, like cheaper cat foods, use charcoal as a filler, and it's been known for decades.
That's crazy.
To slowly poison cats. It's really wild. You got to be really careful what you feed a lot of stuff. But yeah, like so.
I mean, yourself too. People kill themselves. I mean, in America, that's the biggest killer is what we freaking eat. Oh yeah,
pepperoni roll.
Gas station pepperoni roll. I mean, gas station pepperoni roll is probably there's worse things out there.
Let's look. We got the nutrition facts on this.
Yeah.
This is
big nutrition.
Serving size about 2, so it's assuming you're not going to eat the whole pepperoni roll in one, like it's just bullshit. The only reason I stopped is because we started finishing the podcast. You know.
Oh yeah.
We started the podcast. All right, this one actually isn't too bad. 30 grams of carbs and only 1 gram of fiber, so you're looking at almost 60 grams of carbs. But you got like 18 grams of protein in one of these.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. There's not a lot of fat in here. It's only like 500 calories. This isn't too bad, actually. It's just, I just feel disgusting eating gas station food, but I still eat gas station food.
Dude, the thing about fats is like, a lot of people think fats are really bad for you, like butter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst thing. But actually, if you're gonna go low on carbs, you actually need to do extra fats. You need to eat like avocado and like there's better butters.
Yeah.
They're like just regular old butter and margarine is not great. Vegetable oil is terrible for you. But if you're using olive oil or like
Yeah, we cook everything with olive oil. We replace beef with turkey whenever we can.
yeah.
We try to be pretty good about it. When we
Yeah, I don't eat healthy right now because I am 21 and in between.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm about to move out, so like it's like I don't know, and I'm also just like I hang out, so I get fast foods. Like
yeah, I didn't have to I didn't have to
lot.
start worrying about things until I like turned 30.
I put on dude, I was like 180 pre-COVID. I was 220 this new year. I dropped 5 pounds already, but like
Nice.
I'm trying to get back down to like 180. It make me feel so much more comfortable.
I won't tell you what I weigh now, but I weigh substantially more than I used to. I used to weigh like 130, 140 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, and then like COVID alone, I put like 20 pounds on during COVID. I lost a little bit of weight, and then I put more weight on.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's been. I need to put more effort into losing weight and getting in better shape.
Literally, all I've done to lose, and I've lost 5 pounds, is I'm not drinking pop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a killer, man. When you turn 30, sugar turns into a bully big time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get, like, alcohol hangovers very often, but I've gotten sugar hangovers before.
Yeah.
Like, around Christmas, you're eating everybody's aunt brings Christmas cookies, whatever.
there's cookies everywhere.
You get sugar hangovers. I didn't know that was a possibility.
Literally, Christmas is like if you were a crackhead and you just decided, an ex-crackhead, and you like went to hang out in an alley for a whole 2 months, the holiday season. It's like, you're probably gonna do some crack, man.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it was. It's like I was on like a really good track. I'd lost like 15 pounds. My birthday's December 12th. And so like
Thanksgiving, birthday, Christmas.
yeah, it's just I gained it all back and then some. So I lost like 15 pounds and I put 20 pounds back on.
Yeah,
and
but
then
it's probably nice that New Year's is right after it, because like I always like do New Year. I feel like I go the first month of New Year's strong, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
yeah, I was exercising pretty good, and then I like split my thumb down the middle with a kitchen knife, and it's like I can't do my push-ups. I can't really do anything really intense with my hands. I had to like relearn how to type.
Really?
It was weird. Yeah, because I use your thumb, and it's like you're only down one finger, but you have to relearn how to type to replace that finger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a weird week at
Yeah.
work.
With your cut open thumb. You did that. Wait, how'd you do that?
Okay, so we got new kitchen knives. We got these nice German kitchen knives. When
Yeah,
we got married.
You said they weren't Cutco cutlery.
No, they were Henkel's.
If you guys want me to come over, I'll try and sell you some Cutco cutlery.
Well, you told me about the scissors. I mean, I know Cutco stuff is good. That's the funny thing. Is like everybody's like, oh yeah, like
Yeah, it's such a meme though.
it is such a meme, but it's like it's funny. Like when people talk about like pyramid schemes or whatever, nobody brings up Cutco because the product's actually decent.
Yeah.
Like it's not very different from like Amway or like Avon or Mary Kay, but like the product is really high. Is actually a really high quality product.
Yeah, it is.
It's like it doesn't. You feel bad calling it because it's not really a scam.
Yeah, it's
because it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean multi-level
multi-level
marketing.
yeah.
Multi-level marketing can be okay if it's like if not one person is making all the money. Like I did this I did a multi-level marketing thing with Bitcoin. Right?
Mm. I already hate where this is going. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I did it with some of my family, and we all got like a handful of like $100 in Bitcoin.
Okay.
So basically,
Which is like 66 Satoshi or something like that. Not even. Yeah.
yeah. But we just literally it was like you paid a little bit, like I don't remember what it was, but you paid a little bit and you signed up and you got 2 people to sign up and they get 2 people to sign up and then you get 100 Bitcoin if you get that many people to sign up, and then you go and you can get 200 Bitcoin the next time if you get more people to sign
Like
up.
you mean like you don't mean like 200 Bitcoin. You mean like 200 Satoshis.
Yeah, like
of
100
Bitcoin.
worth $100
Worth,
US
okay,
dollars
yeah.
of Bitcoin.
100 Bitcoin would be like
Billions.
yeah, it'd be a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
Which-
but-
that would be worth it. I would fuck over anybody.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it wasn't a bad deal. Most of the people that I did it with got their $100. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, for 100 Bitcoin, I'd be like, I would sell anybody up the river for that.
Oh yeah.
Like, sign up for this.
Like the guy who's
It's not gonna ruin your life. It's gonna make mine a whole lot better though.
the guy who's got like $500 million in Bitcoin in a hard drive that's been searching through a dump for 8 years looking for it.
Yeah,
I'd be that guy. I mean, I could easily be that guy.
yeah, that's. I've
You mess around with the cryptos a little bit?
a little bit like back in the day. I thought Dogecoin was funny when
Yeah.
it first started.
I got Dogecoin real early.
Yeah, I got into it really early, and I never paid anything for it. I've never paid money for cryptocurrency. I would mine it because it's like,
Oh, so you have like a GPU or something?
I mean, yeah, like basically, like I like building computers, so like I would always be like, let's see what this baby can do, and like that's like the easy way to do it is like to see how effective it is in mining cryptocurrency, and so like up until 2 or 3 years ago, I was mining Doge all the time, so I've got like money in Doge
Nice.
on like my old hard drive that I just haven't bothered to get off and like sell. I think
Dude, just pop it into a wallet.
it's in a wallet.
Oh.
What I'm saying is it's just to get the wallet off the old computer.
Yeah, just pop it into one of those wallets that you can access on any phone, like Trust or MetaMask or something like that.
Yeah, I'll do something with it.
Why
Like
not?
it's not like a
You never
fortune in Bitcoin, but it's like a nice used car worth of Dogecoin that I have just like hanging around. I just don't want to cash out because then you got to pay taxes on it. And,
I mean, dude, I'd wait five years for that. Like,
Yeah.
you never know because like Elon Musk still likes Dogecoin. He still talks to the people who run
Yeah.
it, and you never know.
the thing about Dogecoin is that there's no cap really on like you can still mine new Dogecoin. Mm-hmm. You can still get it. It's a lot harder than it was. Like I have the hottest computer I've ever had now.
and it's getting harder.
I tried mining with it for a bit, and it's so funny because like I had like the kind of computer you could afford, you know, when you're on a budget.
Yeah.
Whereas like I built like a money is no object computer last year,
Oh, nice.
so
it's a super nice computer.
yeah, like relatively pretty nice. I wouldn't say money is no object, but like I basically like went in with a budget and doubled it. It's like a Ryzen 7 3700X, I think. Might be wrong about that. It's a it's like a mid high tier Ryzen 7 at the time, like a 1660 Super, GT 1660 Super, which was like a decent graphics card at the time I
Yeah.
got it. And
I don't know a bunch about computers, but
yeah, but like it was a really nice, probably the nicest, obviously the nicest thing I've had. It was the newest thing I've built, and it's also like I had the most money to build it at the time. I didn't have to piecemeal it together.
yeah.
And I was really shocked when I went to try mining, and like kind of everybody had caught on to Dogecoin.
Yeah, that's the thing is I looked into mining, and so like no regular human being can mine Bitcoin. You can't do it.
No, yeah, at this point you absolutely can. I remember
You can't get into it.
when Bitcoin started, you could mine Bitcoin with like a mid-tier gaming computer.
Oh, yeah,
back in the well, this is back in the day. This is like 10 years ago.
Well, you can
or
mine.
longer.
You can mine Ethereum with like. I saw people that get like 8 GPUs and they mine Ethereum pretty efficiently and make some serious money. But that's
Yes.
only gonna last like another year or two.
Yeah, so when I was mining Dogecoin, I was actually mining. There was also this like browser mining thing I set up on my work computer.
Okay.
That like it would just mine with your browser, and it would mine different kinds of cryptocurrency, and I would convert it all into Doge just for simplicity's sake.
Yeah.
So I mined like at the time like 1/100th of a Bitcoin and converted that all into Doge.
Wow.
Just because I didn't really care. It wasn't like necessarily about the money aspect of it for me. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was
I'm
weird.
into-
It was
I'm
a
into
fun
it.
thing to do.
The thing I'm buying right now is Ethereum, and I actually messed around and I got 130 million Safe Moon for $40.
Wow. I had somebody try to turn me onto Ethereum years ago, and I'm just too much of a
Now's not a bad buy time. It's down at like about 3 months ago. It was in the high fours. It capped out at like 4,800.
yeah.
So and it's been on a steady like 3 month-ish up and down for the past year, and it went down to $3,000 here, and it's like at 32 right now. It's going back
If I
up.
would have had if I had the Ethereum now that I had converted into Dogecoin, the last time I checked Ethereum prices, it was like 4,400 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had like 30 grand in Ethereum if I would have held on to it.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's like I
Ethereum's the one that I believe in.
It's
because
like
they're
a-
building
yeah.
Web3 through Ethereum.
It's like a game show, right? Like, oh man, do you feel bad that you lost $1 million? It's like I never had the $1 million.
Yeah.
Until I have it in my hand and someone takes it out of my hand, it's not going to bother me.
Exactly.
Like, I won't go to the casinos. I won't gamble. I went to a casino once. I spent $20, and it was like one of the most depressing experiences of my life.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all the cool shit I could buy for $20. It's 20 Hot Wheels cars.
20 Hot Wheels cars.
Have you seen Hot Wheels cars? They're cool now.
Dude,
They have like the $5 Hot Wheels cars with the rubber tires on them and shit. Those are nice. I got some of those hanging up over the computer.
Oh, really?
I've got like between 300 and 500 Hot Wheels cars right now. It's like the easiest thing to get scammed into buying. They're $1.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't gonna hurt. Like, if
Aren't some
heroin
of
was
them,
$1,
like, tradable? Like, is that a tradable item?
kind of, yeah. Like,
I know Pokemon cards are hot right
really
now.
hot. Yeah, I remember some of the Pokemon cards I had because I was like the first person in my elementary school to have Pokemon cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like the guy.
I never did all the cards. Like, my brother had a bunch of the cards.
I used to play the game. I used to play in the league. I used to play with a guy when I was in college named Chris Fulop. That was like the U.S. national champion of Pokemon cards. Whatever year.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Like 2000. This is like around 2007, 2008. And it was fun. Like I liked playing the card game. The card game was really good.
Yeah. What I've been thinking about doing is I got a Switch, and I just played Sword and Shield, the most recent one. But they remade Gen 4 Diamond and Pearl, and they just put that out. And
Okay.
I'm probably gonna get that here, and I'm gonna try and build I like to it's worth it to spend like the whole day getting one Pokemon that has the perfect stats by breeding and stuff.
Jeez, yeah. I remember like Red and Blue, like that was all back end stuff that you couldn't see.
Yeah,
so
you
had
couldn't
no
see
idea.
it until like Gen 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And like you can't really see your like IV and like the important stats for competitive online. You can't see until you beat the champion.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest champion.
The first games, if you just grinded hard enough,
Yeah.
you could beat the Elite Four. You know what I mean? Like if you tried hard enough, you could win.
This one, Gen 4 here, this one's supposed to be like one of the hardest champions ever.
I think
because
Black
they
and
made the
White-
AI so much better.
Yeah, what was Black and White? That was like 2011.
Yeah, that was
that-
actually my first Pokemon game that
Jesus.
I had.
I had the original one. I had Pokemon Blue, and then I got Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
And then the last one I played was
Well, actually, it was Diamond and Pearl Gen 4, but yeah.
I think I had Pokemon Black.
Yeah.
I think I had Pokemon Black, and the girl I was dating at the time got Pokemon White.
Yeah, me and my brother played Black and White. I had Black and he had White, and that was a really fun one. It was like it really changed the look of Pokemon from then on out.
Yeah, it's weird when you know all the Pokemon, and then now there's
So many.
and I don't know. There's ones I don't recognize. Like you could show me a Gen 4 Pokemon.
Yeah.
You could show me like four creatures, and like one of them is a real Pokemon, and 3 of them aren't. And I couldn't pick out the real one, and that's so odd to me because like that was
Yeah.
when I was in like the 4th and 5th grade,
Yeah.
Pokemon was the biggest thing. It
I
was
don't-
the biggest deal.
No, Generation 6 very well.
I thought
7.
Generation 6?
Yeah,
7?
They're on 8 right now.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. So
When you're saying Gen 4, I'm like, okay, yeah, Gen 4 is where we're at. Is Gen 4? I'm not that far behind.
no, they
What the
remade
fuck?
Gen 4. Gen 4 is Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. That's the starters.
Okay, so that's right before.
That's before Black and White.
So Black and White is Gen 5.
Yeah. Black and White is 5.
Okay, because I had Tepig.
Yeah, Tepig. Yeah, that's Tepig, Snivy, and Oshawott. And
Wow.
like Reshiram, Zekrom, the legendaries. Yeah, I
Think of where we'd be if we put all this effort into like learning useful.
useful skills.
Shit.
Dude, I go hard on. I went hard on Pokemon Go a lot.
Yeah, I did too. That's actually like one of the first times I had like walked through the smoker circle at Funny Stop before I was an open micer because there's a Pokestop at Funny Stop.
Oh, there is. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I need to start playing Pokemon.
Yeah, so I would walk there because it's right up the street from where I live. So I would just do a walk around the neighborhood every day, get in shape. That was like kind of Pokemon Go is what started my fitness journey.
Yeah. That
Just walking
first
around my neighborhood.
that first year, the max level was. It's 50 now. I think it was 30.
I think it was 30 because I played it right when it came out, and then I got back into it a couple years later, and then I need to get back.
Yeah, I grinded to like level 28, 29, and they moved it to 40, and it was the middle of winter, and I was like, Nope. Not because I was gonna try and be like pretty competitive on there, and now you can like do online battles and you can work
there's
your
all
way up
kinds
the
of
ranks,
stuff.
and
Even when I was playing, that you could do.
yeah, and so it's super fun, but it takes a lot of time to get good Pokemon.
Yeah,
because you have to catch like 100 of each one. You got to check their stats, and
it's just like at that point, it's not fun to me anymore. Like it's a little like it gets so. It's hard to strike a balance because everybody's got a different level of what they're comfortable with as far as like how in the weeds they want to get and how casual and pick up and play they want to be.
Yeah, so
if you put those at the end and you move a slider between like which you prefer, you know what I mean? Everybody's gonna have a different setting on the slider.
Yeah,
so.
I don't like to like play a game unless I'm gonna get like super technical with it. Like,
Yeah,
I need to like even with GTA, like playing GTA online. I'm gonna like have like the best cash money, best cash flowing businesses that are in the game.
I gave up on that because the way they built GTA Online is such that you can't do what you want to do in GTA Online.
Yeah.
GTA always used to be a game where you could do whatever you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you started having to like find different ways to get cash, it was cool because it's like, okay, I want to do this and this, but I don't want to do this and this. And it's like you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like the game gives you like 20 options how to make money, but only 2 of them are profitable.
Yeah.
And then they add in like the stupid like flying bikes and shit.
Yeah, those oppressors.
So, like, yeah, the oppressors, and I gave up on it. Like I will never pay money for a Rockstar game ever again.
Oh, really? I'll the next GTA will probably be where like I'll move because it'll probably be in the metaverse and I'll just live there.
I'll pirate it. I don't give a fuck. I've never pirated a video game before.
Really? Yeah. I don't even know how to do stuff like that.
I will figure it out just for the sake of not giving Rockstar money.
Really?
Oh, you're gonna get kicked off the server because fine, it probably sucks anyways. You ruined GTA 5. Like really? GTA 5 is unplayable with all the oppressors and stuff. Like
online. I do like private lobbies and stuff.
Yeah, I don't even bother with that shit anymore just because like it's so like every fucking 12-year-old whose single mom bought them a fucking shark card can go out and buy an oppressor. And it's like, I'm just trying to deliver a car from point A to point B because somebody said, we want you to steal a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I found one and I repainted it, and it's like, fine, I'll get $9,000. And that'll pay for the ammunition I used in the last mission I did.
Yeah.
And that's how I like to play GTA Online. And I can't even deliver a fucking $9,000 car
you gotta do
in a lobby with 32 fucking people without getting blown up by the oppressor, which shouldn't even be there anyways.
Yeah.
Like, it just, if it doesn't, I understand that, like, obviously...
I do land dropouts, so I'll drop out, and it'll just be me in a real online lobby. I'll deliver a bunch of cars, make a bunch of money, and buy an oppressor and kill people with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I either play, like, I'm, like, making money, or, like, I'm on with a couple buddies.
The thing about the oppressor is, like, okay, like, made-up fucking sci-fi bullshit. If I wanted to play Saints Row, I would have bought Saints Row. We're fine.
No, that's actually like perfect.
Yeah, it's almost like I review beer for a living.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
You
review
beer? I write for Tone Audio magazine, which is like a high-end hi-fi magazine. And one of the sponsors, one of the advertisers, is a company called Cardis Audio, and they sell like $80,000 stereo cables. Like when you have a component stereo and you want to connect them. We're not talking like monster cables from Best Buy, which are a scam. We're talking like serious, like high-end stuff.
Okay.
So the kind of people that $80,000 is like a drop in the bucket. Like they want to hear whatever music they listen to, the highest possible fidelity, whatever.
Wow.
Boogie Nights. But they sponsor a article in every issue called Swill, which is a review, it's just like a beer review, and just I review beers because like it seems like the people that buy high-end hi-fi really like to sit down with like a beer.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And I'm not like a beer snob. I'm not a like I would have been perfectly happy if you would have had like Coors or Miller Lite here. So like I actually try not to do like off the wall zany IPAs every issue. I'll do like because there's 6 issues a year. I'll do at least 2 articles on like some domestic beer and like the history of that domestic beer and what makes it special. Like I just did a write-up of Coors because for Halloween my wife and I dressed up as Burt Reynolds and Sally Field from Smokey and the Bandit and brought a case of Coors with us. And like Coors is interesting.
Coors is good beer.
Yeah, Coors Banquet is actually brewed with Rocky Mountain spring water still.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty nice like as a treat. It used to be Coors was such a big deal. Like before, like the whole like microbrewery boom, like Coors was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like you had presidents smuggling cases of Coors because Coors wasn't pasteurized, so they didn't sell it anywhere east of the Mississippi.
Oh my god.
That's why in Smokey and the Bandit it was such a big deal to go get Coors beer, because that was like the fancy beer.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and now it's really nothing special.
Okay.
Like, so like a lot of beers have changed. Like you pick your domestic beer when you go into college. Like some guys are Miller guys. All my friends are Miller guys, so I'm a little bit of a Miller guy by extension. Some people are Bud Light people.
Miller's got that we're actually, the camera just cut out, so we're on audio only right now.
Okay.
But so we'll just flip the camera back on and take a pause here in a second. But for me, Miller, it's that Pilsner flavor to it that I prefer the Bud Light, just light lager.
Okay.
It's a little better to me.
I can respect that.
It's-
So
I mean, I'll drink a Miller.
so my beer that I picked. My beer that I picked was Rolling Rock, and then the very next year they moved, and they've changed ownership and moved twice, and it's no longer the beer that I fell in love with. But it's like a bad relationship. Like every time I buy a case, I'm like, it'll be just like it used to be. It never is. But like every beer's changed like that. You know, the beer that your dad drank when he was in college, whatever he drinks, is different than it is now. But Coors is still pretty true to the original.
That's interesting.
Recipe and flavoring of Coors. It is, I believe, it is pasteurized now.
Okay. That's interesting.
I do believe it is pasteurized now. I could be wrong, but yeah, they used to only deliver it within a few states because that was how far a refrigerated truck could take it in a day.
Wow.
So it'd still be fresh.
Wow.
And that's what made it so special, is that you can only get it here.
That's super cool.
And now it's like every microbrewery's like that. Like, you know, whatever microbrewery your friend really likes in New Mexico, it's going to be really hard to get here. And like whatever you tell him that's so great here is going to be really hard for him to get.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take a quick pause, get the camera back rolling. We'll go right back in.
We'll put our ads back up, ad break in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It's not even charging anymore. Feel how hot that is.
Oh my gosh. You got a hot charger up in here.
Fucking thing sucks. It's the only Apple thing I still use.
And it sucks.
I gotta go get a new charger. Because I thought there was something wrong with the phone. Like I got some kind of, maybe I got some kind of malware on my phone somehow. Because it's an Android.
Yeah.
Maybe I got some kind of malware there on something where it won't let me charge the phone.
Too much of the hub.
No, surprisingly, it's, so I got into stand-up because I like shit talking, right?
Yeah.
Like I just love any avenue for talking shit. Like I'm a pretty laid-back guy, but talking shit is just fun.
It is.
So just looking at places like 4chan, or I still like Kiwi Farms, but Kiwi Farms is just like fucking the people posting on Kiwi Farms are, they're just as fucking corny as the people they're posting about, you know? But like you just go to places, Encyclopedia Dramatica, shit like that, and it's just like, I'm sure I'm catching something. What the fuck was that?
My Birdie Bert tour poster fell.
Oh my god, I just saw that out of the... Do you need me to grab that?
No, it's okay.
I like how you did the Pinterest white woman decorating with palettes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have them up on the wall so I could hang stuff on them.
That's like, I want to talk shit. That is pretty clever. Like, yeah, because you can get, there's hooks, like the pegboard style hooks, or like store display hooks. But there's hooks that would actually hook around these, like, without modifying at all. And you can hang, like, 200 or 300 Hot Wheels cars. Like I have a garage. When we moved into our house, one whole wall of the garage was pegboard.
Really?
And that's how, because I keep all my Hot Wheels in the packages because it's just easier to store that way for me.
Yeah.
Well, and two, like a few years ago, they started putting the actual like artwork of the actual car on the package. So that's neat. Because back when we were kids, maybe not you, maybe they were already doing this. But when I was a kid, it would be the same picture on every Hot Wheels package.
Maybe. It might have been that way when I was a kid.
It gets frustrating, though, because then, like, when you're trying to find a casting that you like, a Hot Wheels that you like, you have to make sure that the car's painted right, like the car looks right, because sometimes they call them tampos, the decals that they print on them are a little off-center or whatever, or blurry. You want to make sure that the car is the best looking as possible, and you want to make sure that the card that it's on is perfect and not dinged up. And Walmart puts them in those bins where they get all fucked up. Oh. So it's like a double dose of autism when I'm trying to get the perfect Hot Wheels car. But yeah, I've got hundreds of them. I cut down a lot over the last few years. I used to buy, like, if there was a casting, so I used to buy every car that I either owned, wanted to, or every car that I either owned, used to own, or wanted to own.
Oh wow.
Which meant I bought pretty much everything.
A lot of cars.
Yeah, just pretty much everything because I love everything. Like I've kind of like settled down into like stuff that I like. Like I've drilled down into. I used to want to have everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of at a point where unless comedy works out and I get a ton, if I get like Jay Leno money or like Tim Allen
Get
money,
some type of show.
yeah, I can't. There's not enough time and not enough money for me to own everything I want. So I just like, okay, like I love old Japanese cars, like 70s, 80s, 90s Japanese cars, and have for a long time.
Like what kind of cars are we talking here? Like
everything that they made, I thought was really cool. There was just like even the economy cars were interesting that they were making and pretty engaging to drive and rugged and well built, just good stuff. But I've got a friend in Talmadge that collects that stuff, and he's got way cooler shit than I could ever hope to own. So it's like, okay, I don't need to have that stuff. I can just focus. So what I've focused on is I have my Porsche 911 that I bought when they were cheap, my old air-cooled 911. I have my C4 Corvette I bought when they were cheap before those started becoming popular. And then everything else is like 80s and 90s Fords because that's like what I'm really into.
Wow, that's cool. See, I wonder, like, you know, it's just a thing with like guys. As guys get older, they start collecting something.
You got to collect something. And I have a lot of stuff that I collect.
I don't know what it is about guys though. They're big collectors.
I think what it is I think it's this urge of wanting to leave a legacy and wanting to feel like you're doing something important.
Yeah.
And as our culture's gone towards everybody having desk jobs and doing busy work, like the stuff that I do for work isn't that important.
Yeah.
Like I got to
so you write for the magazine? What else?
I write for websites. I don't write. Yeah, I write for mostly automotive websites. Tone is cool. That was like a whole thing how that happened. Actually, the guy that's the editor of that magazine is like one of my best friends.
Okay.
I used to write for BMW Car Club of America because BMWs were a thing I was into.
Oh, that's cool.
And I kind of married into it. In a sense. So like I got a job working for a company that sells car parts for German cars, but I got hired on the BMW team.
Oh.
I liked them, but I wasn't like a BMW expert. You can't know everything about everything.
Yeah,
you just good research skills means you know where to find information quickly.
Mm-hmm. That's the beautiful thing about
who to talk to, where
time.
to look. Yeah, it's great. It's really good.
The best thing about right now is you can learn anything in a minute.
Yeah.
Or as long as the YouTube video is.
Right. Yeah. I miss back in the day, this again, before your time, because how old are you?
I'm 21.
Yeah, 21. So you're 12 years younger than me.
Okay.
So back in the day, like before social media took off, even like before MySpace, people would just have websites. And it's like like if I were to make a website now, the way I made websites back then, it would be like, this is everything I know about Bill Hicks. This is everything I know about 1996 to 1998 Mustang Cobras. This is everything I know about mechanical paintball guns. And it would all be on the same site. Like you just have to know where to find people's sites, and it was just everything they knew about stuff they liked. It was really cool because like everything was like way more atomized and individualized, but I think the internet was a lot more interesting back then.
Yeah, that seems super interesting. I wish I would have been around like in that time.
Do you ever fuck around on archive.org?
No.
Archive.org has a lot of that stuff archived. I remember it. So I bought probably the car that I missed the most out of everything I sold, because I've owned. Currently, I own 11 cars. I've owned probably close to 40 at this point.
Wow.
And of the ones I sold, the one that I missed the most is I had an 86 Cutlass Supreme, triple green. It was metallic mint green. Well, if you've seen my cousin Vinny, it's metallic mint green. Metallic mint green, green vinyl top, like a celery-colored vinyl top and a celery-colored velour interior with a bench seat and a column shift. It had a 307 V8.
That's so cool.
Such a cool car. Yeah. And I miss that car.
That just seemed like celery-colored. I was just picturing like
so I ended up making a trade with with my best friend at the time for a Miata that he had. And he actually bought new material for the headliner because it was an 80s GM, so the headliner was sagging. My Corvette, mid 80s GM, It has the removable target top like they all do. It has this much space as a headliner. Headliner's still fucking sagging. Whatever glue they use to hold the fabric up to the headliner board.
On like, okay, yeah, that happened in my old Civic, like my 2003 Civic or whatever.
Yeah, it happens. But he bought really nice suede material in like the factory color. But he got it from a third-party source, and they actually referred to the color as celery.
That's awesome.
I love that car so much that when I traded him for it, I told him if you ever have to sell this car, you have to sell it out of state, and it has to be at least 3 states away.
So you don't see it?
So I never see it again, because I couldn't bear to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's... I remember, I like never take my cars to shops to have them worked on. I get fucked every time. Like... So when you're working on stuff and you're learning how to do,
I'm getting fucked way
100%,
harder, and I have no idea because I don't know enough.
When you're learning to do something for yourself on a car, it's going to take twice as long, and it might end up costing more money in the end, and you might end up having to do it twice because you fucked up the first time to learn how to do it. But at least it's a known quantity, you know how it's done. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was really, really busy, and when used car prices started going crazy, I had this Volvo wagon, and I sold the Volvo wagon. I had put it up for sale because I had ordered a new car.
Yeah.
And I'd ordered a Mini Cooper S, and it was going to be, you know, it's going to take months for the thing to be built and shipped here and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll start selling the Volvo now, because usually when you're selling a used car private party, it takes some time.
Yeah.
Sold it in a week.
Wow.
For good money. A really good friend of mine bought it. I think he just took that car to Texas too. He loves it.
Wow.
But it was cool. But I was like, okay, so I had to buy this car or drive this car that I had bought my wife as an engagement gift, which is a gold 1997 Mustang that had some rust issues on it, and the brake line blew out.
Okay.
That's from rust.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's the car I'm driving right now.
Oh.
And so I wanted to replace the brake line, but I didn't have time. I had some road gigs. I had a bunch of stuff going. I'm like, because I used to work at a Napa in my hometown.
Okay.
One of the shops that I thought was a trustworthy shop, I had them fix it for me. They did it, they bent the lines not even the same shape. It looks like super hillbilly under the hood. Like, it's something I could have fixed myself. If I would have done it to that standard, I would have done it in like half hour.
Oh, wow.
I thought they were going to actually bend it to the shape of the original brake line. Nope. They didn't. It looks like shit. They didn't screw the bleeders back into the brake, so it was shooting brake fluid out every time I hit the brake, so I was losing braking force every time.
That's terrible.
They fucking, I don't know what they did to pull the center caps off the wheels, but they broke the tabs on every single one of them and then glued them back on with RTV silicone. So when I had to go back in and fix it properly, I had to peel. They were glued on.
Yeah.
And then I took it to another shop to have them fit like another version of it was Firestone Complete Auto Care. Fuck them, I'll throw them under the bus. And I took them to another Firestone by me, and they didn't put the bolts back on the caliper.
Wow.
So my brake caliper was just flapping in the breeze. So I only had 3 brakes on 3 wheels.
Oh my god!
And at the time, I was driving the car back and forth to Cleveland every day because I was doing some work up there.
Yeah.
And that's a braking system. Like, you can't fuck around with that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. So the only thing I know how to do on a car by myself, is I can change the tire, I can change my brakes, I can change my rotors.
That's more than most people. Yeah. And that's really, for the most part, that's all you need to know.
I've never changed my oil, but I easily could.
If you can do brakes I would say brakes are a little bit more difficult than changing your oil.
Oh my gosh, it sucked. My rotor, the one time I did it, my uncle came and showed me how to do it. He's like, it's super easy.
Yeah.
The back tires are harder or something. Yeah, I think.
Oh, because he had drum brakes?
It was my car.
Okay.
But,
probably drums back there.
Yeah. It was I think it was my Civic.
I like how the whole lineup is Hondas, and then you have the Toyota, because I always assumed you were the black sheep of the family.
Well, see,
being like the entertainment industry stoner guy, and then I was coming in, and it's like it's like a nice neighborhood, and it's like a nice house. I'm like, yeah, this, and then I see all Hondas, and then you're a Toyota. I'm like, this checks out.
I was a Civic guy, and then when I went to buy my first car that I put on credit so I could build some credit, I went with the Toyota. I looked at some Hondas, and Toyotas had a better price for the mileage, and
yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either. I just think it's funny that your entire rest of your family has Hondas.
Yep.
There's fucking 4 cars in his driveway, and 3 of them are Hondas.
I have my mom, dad, sister, brother. I mean, my whole family's over 16, so everyone bought their own car.
Yeah.
So
It's yeah, you can't go wrong either way. What the hell was I talking about
so we were
back in the day? Like, where did I start and how did I end up here? We're talking about how stuff I write.
yeah,
for a
stuff you
living,
write, and then the beer, and then
Yeah, so writing for a living is mostly like websites and stuff. I did just fact check and proofread a coffee table book about the history of Ford pickup trucks.
oh, that's cool.
From like the first F series, like post-war F series, all the way up to now.
Wow.
So the gestation, like a book takes a long time to put together.
Yeah.
So when Jimmy Dinsmore, the author, started putting the book together, they had just announced the new Lightning, the electric Lightning.
Yeah, that's
and
a
it's
super
like
cool
you've got
vehicle.
it's like now this whole section of the book we have to rewrite because we actually know stuff about it now.
Yeah.
Like when he wrote it, there were just teaser photos, you know.
Oh,
but because
wow.
it's taken so long, because books take forever to put together.
It,
I
yeah,
mean,
it depends on the. Yeah,
I
the
didn't
type of book.
write anything. I just proofread stuff, checked facts, because it's like, again, like stuff's wrong on the internet all the time.
Yeah.
But when you put something in a book, there's an expectation that you can use that as a research material.
Especially if it's not like if it's a book about a history of something.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I had to go through like line by line from 1948 until 2021 and make sure that everything was right.
Wow.
And it was like that was a tedious process. That took me.
You ever thought of writing your own book?
I want to. I'm working on a young adult book now.
Okay.
That's like a young adult fiction.
Okay.
Like kind of like a, I don't know. Like, did you have to read Gary Paulson books in school? Did you have to read Hatchet?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I read Hatchet.
So I think it's kind of that like teenage boy wish fulfillment of
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
it's basically like I feel like giving a 16-year-old boy Hatchet has the same effect on him as giving like a 32-year-old man a copy of the Unabomber Manifesto. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same. It is pretty much the same thing. So I'm writing something like that.
Makes
And
me want to go to the woods.
yeah. Dude, this fucking cell phone issue I had today, I'm like, I'm done with anything that doesn't run on gasoline or diesel.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with that. But anything I have to plug into the wall, I'm over it.
No electric cars for you.
Yeah, no EVs for me.
So wait,
I'm not anti-EV. I'm just, it's the most astroturfed thing in the world right now. I think like global EV sales last year, it was like 1.9% of new car sales were EVs.
But isn't there some type of bill that's going into effect in 2030 about like electric vehicles?
Yeah, the
and gas-powered vehicles?
the next regime's gonna change it. That's
Yeah.
because it's not sustainable right now. The power density's not there.
I like that you called it a regime.
It's whatever. I mean,
No, we aren't living in the America of the past. That's one thing. Like I love history. I love me some history. We
I
made a
gotta
couple of
tell
history-
you, yeah, like there was a time like I have like my own reasons. Like I don't want to get into like too dark of shit, but there was a time in my life definitely where a switch flipped, and I went from being like a really good kid who just I wouldn't want to say like blindly respected authority, but like if somebody was qualified as an authority figure, I should listen to them. To even if they're saying things I like, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
And it used to be to me like, wow, like what would it be like to be the president? You know, like when you're a kid, like some kids dream of growing up to be president. I didn't even dream of growing up to be president because it's like, I don't even know like how you would go about doing that. It's like the most important job. You're the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
And there was like a time when like it would have been such a great honor for me to shake hands with the president and make eye contact with them and say hi. And like now, like if
It's the dumbest job.
and it's the dumbest job. And like over the past like 10 years, I've gotten to the point where like if they were going around, if Biden and Harris were going around the neighborhood knocking on doors and shaking hands as some kind of fucked up community outreach thing, like I wouldn't even pause Animal Crossing to get off the couch to go to the door.
Yeah, and-
I wouldn't even put the effort in to make it look like I wasn't home.
There's something wrong with the system where that seems crazy.
Dude, I was talking to,
Like,
you know, John
them going
Bruton.
and shaking hands sounds crazy. 'Cause,
Right,
like,
it
they
sounds
couldn't
like
do that.
it would never happen. Do you know John Bruton from Cleveland? He's great. You should. He's fantastic.
Comedian.
Yeah.
I think I think I've seen the name, but it's probably
Around-
just in that Facebook group.
I had one of those like up until 4 a.m. Phone conversations with John where we just workshopping bits, talking about jokes and stuff. And I was talking about the fact that I ride motorcycles. And to me, the scariest thing is that I share the road with people who are using their cell phones, and I share the road with people that are so old that they don't want to give up that autonomy, which I respect because I'm going to get there at some point.
Yeah.
But like they don't have the reflexes, they don't have the awareness, they don't have. When I'm on my bike and I look next to me and the car next to me in traffic has like this fucking 80-year-old fucking moron in the car that's like not even aware of. They probably weren't a moron 10, 20 years ago, but they've got whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Macular degeneration.
They should not be driving, but no one is going to step in and take the keys from them. And I don't feel safe being next to them at a stoplight on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And then we get to the last election, and our binary choice, our two choices, are two guys I wouldn't trust next to me on a motorcycle in traffic. Here's the keys to the fucking kingdom.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Dude, the thing is, they're like, in my opinion, I think the presidents are more scapegoats than anything.
Oh,
the
dude,
cabinet,
yeah,
the
there's
cabinet's making the decisions. The Congress is making a bunch of money, and which I have never.
Do you get into conspiracy theories?
I love conspiracy
All
theories.
right, hear me out. There is a small group, a small percentage of the population, all right, that I think behind the scenes is controlling everything and pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
And of course,
The oligarchy.
I was talking about white women, but
Dude,
I think all of like the again, like growing up in like the greater Cleveland area, right? Like we were too poor. This sounds, I'm sure somebody's going to come after me for saying this, whatever. This is my experience. I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's experience, and I hope it's not taken that way, but Twitter exists, but it's whatever.
On this show, it's all honesty. And
So growing up in a place where there used to be manufacturing, and it used to be a case where somebody my age could buy a house and a boat and a Harley and 2 cars and send their kids to school, and mom was at home to raise the kids,
and you manufacture.
working at a manufacturing job, and then all of a sudden that's all taken away.
Yeah.
You know, we're not building cars or parts for cars in Cleveland anymore. The steel industry is a shell of its former self. We're not making tires in Akron anymore. And that started happening when I was a kid. So it got to the point where it's like living a middle class life. You're too poor to be racist insofar as I've got so much shit to worry about. I don't care who's on the assembly line next to me. I just want to make sure that I have a job. I want to make sure my kids have good schools. I want to make sure my kids have a safe place to play. I want to make sure that I can go out drinking with my coworkers and my buddies after work.
Yeah.
I don't care what color his skin is. I don't care what God he prays to. I don't care who he fucks at night. I just want to make sure that I've got my job, I've got my 401k, I've got everything. And like so much of my, especially like when I do a longer set, I don't think you've ever seen me do like a longer set. Or you did, yeah, when I was doing
I saw your feature set.
Kate,
with Kate,
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole like last half of my set is it's not an anti-capitalist thing, and I don't want it to be taken that way, but it's definitely taken insofar as like I think for the vast majority of people in a position like you or me, like living economically where we are. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually love capitalism. I love capitalism, but I don't think we live in a capitalistic country. I don't.
Yeah, I kind of see that.
There's an oligarchical rule of the top companies that
like I don't want to get too
power.
fucking Rogan-y, you know what I mean? But like, so basically, like the whole like the second half of my set, or if I do a longer set, like the last third of my set is like this very. I try to write jokes in such a way where I work from 2 lists, right? I have a list of things that I think are funny or could be funny, and I have a list of things I really want to talk about, but you can't go on stage and actually talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I try to figure out how to combine those two in a way that makes it, like, harmless.
Yeah.
So, like, my tampon joke, that's my closer, where I talk about how tampons are marketed. Are you okay? What happened?
My tooth on the mic.
Ow.
You guys heard that?
Ouch. You got great teeth, too. Fucking A. Look at this. Look at the camera. Look at those fucking pearly whites. Yeah.
Them braces.
I look like a fucking white trash vampire. Like, shit's all fucked up. It's not that bad, but
after a tan in the bottom permanently.
all natural, baby. But that was a joke that I wrote about. It really bothered me when Pride Month would come along every month, and every company would change their logo to a rainbow, and people would fall for it.
Yeah, and they go spend more money there.
Right. Like, notice that, like, okay, like, BMW, Bethesda Software, Coca-Cola, all their Twitter accounts, they've got different Twitter accounts for different regions of the world, right? As soon as gay marriage is legalized, as soon as society has moved to a point where homosexuality isn't something to be derided. It's not something to be made a joke about.
I believe it's relatively accepted.
It's very mainstream, right? As soon as it's mainstream acceptable, as soon as that Overton window has moved to the point where it's mainstream acceptable, all of a sudden Coca-Cola, BMW, Bethesda Software, we support gay people.
We always have.
Like, where were you in like 1978?
Yeah, when
supporting
gay people were being significantly oppressed.
Yeah, we're being like fucking drugged behind pickup trucks and shit, right?
Yeah, and
like, where were you for that?
Physically assaulted, just for wanting.
Exactly, for wanting to do whatever. Yeah, and
I have a new joke about like, it's not really about gays at all, but it's I was talking about.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. It's like the tampon joke is a joke about. So sorry, just real quick.
No, go ahead.
Because we're going to get on another tangent. I'm not going to
will.
That's how it goes. I've been on enough of these to know what happens when I'm involved.
It just keeps going.
Right.
I love that about a podcast.
Me too. But like, but Bethesda Software, BMW, Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. Those are the three examples I'm sticking with. We can do Netflix, we can do Amazon, any global mega corporation, right?
They throw up a rainbow.
All of their regional US, fuck BMW, I'll throw BMW USA, rainbow logo. Mm-hmm. BMW Europe, rainbow logo. Mm-hmm. BMW Japan, rainbow logo. Mm-hmm. BMW Middle East for Pride Month. Nothing. Still blue and white.
Yep.
Still the same color because they know that won't fly. Same in China. That won't fly there. They know it's going to cost them money.
They're marketing. They are not.
Dude, oh my God, like marketing. Do you know? All right, so this is going to sound like we were
talking about a multi-level marketing scam.
Yeah,
it's all a multi-level marketing.
Boy,
this whole thing.
Any corporation, right? Like, do you think they're marketing to the LGBT community because they're good people? No, it's a corporation. It's not good or evil. It's completely green and red.
It's an upwards trend on the graph.
At best, it's true neutral. Mm-hmm. At best, it's true neutral, right?
And it's I guarantee often it's pretty divisive the way that they put this out there. Like, we're gonna get all the gay business. They probably are thinking that. Well, there's probably some guys.
So there's marketing data that's been like leaked out and stuff where it proves like, okay, like dual income, no kids. This is a dream for us. Mm. Like they spend more money. Like they have more money to spend. If you market to a middle class, the way that marketing's always been done is you're marketing to middle class white people from this age to this age, right?
Yeah.
Figured out, if they market to the LGBT community, they don't have kids, they have a lot more discretionary income.
Yeah.
So it's financially advantageous. So like, I can't fucking believe it when every month at Pride Month, or every year when it's Pride Month, you go on Twitter and it's like, it's so brave of Coca-Cola to take a stand with the LGBT community. It's like they're fucking counting the money. They're not helping you. They're not there to help you. They're literally trying to take your money and profit off of you. Mm-hmm. Like that's what
are they doing for
that's what true equality is in America, is when you are seen as a human being that can be put into debt to make someone else wealthier. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's when you're accepted as a human being. Not when you get out of bed in the morning, not when you affirm who you are as a human being. When you are a positive number in the ledger book, that's when you have personhood.
Yeah.
In America.
The corporations are just trying to get a buck off you.
Yeah, and it's like the whole thing with EVs, right? Like everybody's like, "Oh, wow, it's so cool that the manufacturers are going for EVs."
EVs technically aren't better for the environment yet.
They're not. Yeah, here's the thing, though.
Not yet.
This is what gets... And I love getting into arguments about that with people that don't know an amp from an ohm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
that. I just know the infrastructure would have
to
change.
I'm saying like people who are like, well, you're just a dumb hillbilly who like, you're just married to your guy. It's like...
The mullet probably doesn't help.
It doesn't. I don't give a fuck, right? You're absolutely right, but like...
No one sees a guy with a mullet and is like, this dude knows electricity.
That's what makes it fun for me. So one of my favorite things growing up was...
This dude does never seen electricity before.
Right. And I just got done talking about how much I fucking hate anything that plugs into the wall.
That mullet is done with scissors. This dude does not have electric clippers.
What I was going to say about EVs, though, is that like everybody's like, oh, it's so great that the manufacturers are committing to electric power. manufacturers are committing to electric power. Okay, here's the thing. Light trucks are the most profitable thing in the world. Back in the 1950s, cars and trucks were a body-on-frame. Body-on-frame, rear-wheel drive. It was dead simple, right? Cars have gotten a lot more complicated. Trucks, no matter how much leather, no matter how many fucking cubic feet of leather and how many fucking iPads we glue to the dashboard, a truck is still a bed and a cab, body-on-frame. Companies make so much money off trucks. I have a truck a 1991 F-150, like 50,000 miles, super cherry truck. Love this thing. If you took the base price of that truck, and this is not like a stripper truck. This truck has like options. This truck would have been not a luxury truck in 1991, but pretty damn close.
Yeah.
It was an XLT.
Okay.
So at the time, like a luxury truck.
Yeah.
If you adjusted the price of that truck for inflation right now, it's a $19,000 truck. Imagine you could go out and buy a brand new pickup truck.
Did you see my Facebook post the other day about the wage versus average rent?
Oh yeah, I saw that shit. Right. So this is a $19,000 truck, right? I went for fun on the configurator on building, because I do that all the time for fun because I love cars. And I spec'd out a new F-150 with the same options as my truck: single cab, long bed, 4x4, V8, decent stereo, air conditioning.
Yeah.
They all have air conditioning now, whatever. But like the equivalent truck, so like at this point, no longer a luxury truck. It's like a $48,000 truck.
Yeah.
Trucks are extremely profitable for the manufacturers.
And people aren't making that much more money than they were in
No,
1991.
not at all. So
not that much
So
more.
trucks are tremendously profitable, and the manufacturers being greedy go like, how can we be that profitable? Like, I love Porsches, right? But Porsche is the most profitable manufacturer on the planet. Porsche
Really?
makes more money per car than anything they sell. A company sells a pickup truck. The amount of profit they get out of selling that pickup truck is far more than the amount of profit they get on an economy car. So if you've gone to buy a new car, not within the last couple of years because of how crazy the market's been, because you can't get new cars. I got tremendously lucky with my Mustang last year.
Yeah.
Because I had to cancel the mini order because they weren't able to make my car. But if you look at, if you try to negotiate on an economy car, if you go to buy a Nissan Versa from Jasmine, okay, at Marhofer, right? And you say, I want to take 5 or 6% off the price of this car. That way you guys still make your money, whatever. They're not going to be able to do it.
Really?
Because they're making the dealer's making $500 or $600 on the car. The manufacturer's probably not making that much more. Okay? They're making a little bit of money, obviously. They're making enough money to stay in business. They're selling you that car because they want you to drive the shit, the tiny little shit box. That I happen to love tiny little shit boxes, but they want you to drive the little economy car and then upgrade to the bigger one. That's just the way the automotive industry has been built since forever.
The automotive industry is in a real stage of disruption.
Stage of disruption right now. But let me finish. Sorry, real quick. They want everything to be as profitable as that, and the easy way to do that is to get rid of your powertrain engineering department. Okay, an electric motor, brushless electric motor, right now has literally a handful of moving parts. The simplest engine you can buy in a new car now, an overhead cam 4-cylinder engine, has hundreds of parts. You know what I mean? Dozens of moving parts. And you have to pay a lot of people to engineer that so everything works. Yeah, so everything works for 10 years, 100,000 miles. You've got to pay people to manufacture that to a certain level of quality. It's a lot of money. People are so accustomed to the fact that, okay, a new car costs $35,000, $40,000.
Yeah.
We have that hardwired in. The industry's done a great job of hardwiring that into us, okay? So an electric car comes out that they've shaved 1/4, 1/3, whatever of the development budget, of the manufacturing budget, of everything else.
And they can sell it for the same price.
But they can sell it for the same price. They're just as profitable as Porsche is. They're just as profitable as the trucks are. You get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no...
anytime
a company does something you agree with, if it's a company big enough that other people have heard of it, they're not doing it for altruistic reasons. I'm not going after your local hardware store that, you know what I mean, that does free delivery. I'm not going after a company that makes 30 cars a year that's building the car they think is the right car to build because it's what they believe the optimized sports car should be. But I'm going after it's so weird to me how we have access to so much information, we have access to so many different opinions, and yet people fall for the same shit they have always fallen for.
Well, we're still people.
We're still people. Like, this giant corporation is out looking out for my benefit. And it's like, again, like the whole last half of my set is this like anti-marketing stuff based on that. I've got this new bit I'm working on about furniture stores.
Yeah.
Right? How, like, do people, like, okay.
How many beds can you buy?
Right. But no matter where you live in America.
Well, they're profiting off all the kids.
Right. No matter where you live in America, if you've had a television over the last 25 years, you've seen the commercial where it's like the still images, the really otherwise calming still images of rooms, fully furnished rooms, with flashing red and yellow text and a guy screaming like, "We're overstocked! We need to make space for next year's inventory! 75% off!" Like, no! You do this every single year. I'm not going to enable you to keep making the same bad decisions. Because they're lying, obviously. But my point is like, yeah, people fall for this shit. Advertising exists. Every time you feel like a fucking idiot, think about the fact that advertising exists because it works on other people.
Works on everyone. It works on me all the time.
I've never watched...
Every time you buy something...
I've never been watching television and gone, huh, McDonald's. And then I go to McDonald's. That's never happened to me.
That's not exactly how marketing works, though.
I mean, I know, but like...
So marketing is like, there's a lot of different... I went to school for marketing and dropped out, but I did 1 year. But
you can't say that, show. I'm taking a drink.
I took 3 semesters of marketing and two marketing classes, 1 in high school. But like marketing's a lot of different weird things. Like the rule of threes is like, you see something 3 times, you're more likely to think about it again. So like when you see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, if you pay a little bit of attention to it, they're going to show it to you again, and then they're going to show it to you a 3rd time, and then maybe that time you'll click on it, or you'll think about it, and a month later you'll be like, oh, that Dr. Squatch soap did look good.
Dude, that Dr. Squatch ad, that fucking guy.
Good. They're good. They got good ads. I have respect.
You think those are good ads?
Well, some of them. They've had some really funny ones with like.
I want to fucking strangle that guy. Hey, what kind of soap are you using? Are you some kind of queer? That guy. I fucking hate that dude.
I haven't heard.
The blonde guy? The blonde guy whose hairline starts here? Like mine? Fuck that guy.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, how? That's like the only Dr. Squatch ads I see.
Maybe I saw one like a year ago.
Wow.
It was him and Sasquatch, and like it was. I was like, I love it. Like Dollar Shave Club when they first came out, and they're like really like honest ad.
Yeah, what's up with like the weird... This is super outdated information. I feel like comics that tell like... I heard a comedian at some point telling a joke about Justin Bieber. I'm like, fucking why? It's 2022. But
Justin
anyways...
Bieber makes bangers till this day.
What was it?
And my girlfriend would leave me for Justin Bieber.
What was the song that came out of his last year that was pretty good?
Peaches?
Yummy. I liked Yummy.
Yummy
Was pretty solid. I liked the video of it. I liked the video that was just like subtly implying that the entire world is run by pedophiles. And
dude, he's saying.
All right, let's get into the deep shit. Let's get into the bad shit. This is what the podcast is for.
Yes.
My vice principal in junior high school. She molested me, and now she's like the head of fucking student operations at a school district.
Oh my god!
And I wasn't the only one. So again, that was my turning point of I can trust authority figures to I don't trust any authority figures at all. To now that has pivoted to, you know, everybody who's powerful in the world has probably fucked a kid at some point. No one can tell me I'm wrong. I swear, everybody.
Elon Musk.
Maybe? I don't know. I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt. I don't even like Elon Musk.
Dude, how can you not like him? He's like literally.
I find it very easy not to like Elon Musk. His cars are fucking terrible.
But he's so like I'm not talking about his cars. I'm talking about like just the interviews.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off. Is like he occasionally like he's super funny on fucking Twitter. Maybe it's a testament to how fucking unfunny and awful Saturday Night Live is that his fucking how hilarious he is on Twitter.
He's so funny.
Did not translate. That was the worst SNL episode ever.
Really, I don't watch SNL.
Were we recording the part where we were talking about Rolling Rock? When the camera was off? Yeah, I feel the same way about...
I don't remember.
I feel the same way about SNL that I feel about Rolling Rock. It's like, wow, I remember this was good like 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were.
Maybe it'll be different this time. Never. It sucks every week.
Yeah, dude. We'll take a pause real quick. The camera's out. But and I gotta pee. But we'll come back in and talk about some SML, some Elon Musk, and some other stuff.
We got to talk about more marketing because I want to get into NASCAR.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back in like a second or something.
I don't know why I did that.
They can't see it. I do that all the time. We're back again.
Yeah.
We're back, and I think we're gonna hit some more marketing talk.
Yeah, we're
here.
gonna talk more marketing talk. So this is good example. Good place to pivot into something else. By the way, I wanted to point out you got a really great future in the stand-up comedy business.
Dude,
because I went in your bathroom and I didn't want to touch anything, and your shower curtain was disgusting. And I've never been in a stand-up comic's apartment.
Oh yeah, this is just,
that doesn't have a disgusting fucking shower curtain. Dude, shower curtains are $4.
Dude, that's the basement bathroom. We don't shower down here because it gets all too wet in there, and it gets the ceiling all wet.
Let's get a new shower curtain so it looks 10% more presentable.
I think that's the inner shower curtain, and there was like an outer white one that got like ripped or something.
Do you want me to buy you a shower curtain?
No, I can.
I'm not saying you have to shower down here. I'm saying just fancy up the place a little bit.
Oh yeah, that'll make the bathroom nice and fancy.
Yeah, but yeah, like when you're in a stand-up comics bathroom, and this, or if you're in a comedy club and you're using the bathroom like this, it's a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just know it's funny there. But so the marketing.
So marketing. I want to talk about NASCAR. There was a really great video I watched from a YouTuber called Slap Shoes, who I love Slap Shoes stuff. He was talking about how brilliant NASCAR marketing was in the 90s, like, compared to, like, how fucked they are now.
Yeah. Dude, they had that... Was it NASCAR that had that big beef with the guy about the...
LGB
coolers?
coin?
The coolers.
The coolers?
Yeah, there was, like, was it a NASCAR event, I think, in Texas, where this guy was like, I'm never buying a ticket again if they don't let me bring my goddamn cooler in here.
Oh, man, yeah.
Respect your damn fans.
It used to be, like, not a non-issue. So when I watched NASCAR as a little kid, right, in the 90s... Mm-hmm. Even then, I had an innate understanding, a conscious understanding even, as a kid, that this is a Southeastern sport. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't for me. I can watch it. I can enjoy it and watch it. I can probably even go to a race if I want to, whatever. But, like, it's never going to be directed at me. It's never going to be made for me, and that's fine. I can just accept it on its own as it is. And then throughout the 90s and especially the early 2000s, NASCAR got themselves in trouble because they abandoned their traditional fan base to try to chase these, like, fad fans. Because NASCAR was, like, a fad probably a little bit before you were aware of it, like, around that time, right? And they abandoned all kinds of stuff. And the Slap Shoes guy was talking about how brilliant NASCAR marketing was in the 90s, where... his parents shopped, I think, at Kroger or Piggly Wiggly and not Winn-Dixie, right? Southern grocery store chains.
Yeah, well, Kroger's everywhere.
Right, but he wasn't always that way, by the way.
Kroger's the biggest
store Kroger used
country.
to not, Kroger and Meijer didn't go this far north for the longest time.
Yeah.
So.
They come up to Columbus, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, he was saying how he was a Mark Martin fan. Mm-hmm. Mark Martin raced a Winn-Dixie car when he wasn't racing a Valvoline car sometimes, right? And Winn-Dixie was running a deal that if you came to Winn-Dixie and you bought X number of dollars worth of groceries, you got one of the Mark Martin cars. And there were two different colors of it because he raced two different colors of it. And he bagged his mom after seeing this newspaper ad. And for 2 weeks, his mom got their groceries at Winn-Dixie instead of Kroger. So for this little... 69-cent toy car, whatever it cost the company to make, they got a couple $100 worth of groceries out of them. Yeah. And, like, that's how brilliant NASCAR marketing was back in the day.
That's good marketing.
And I remember you used to go before the season started, even, like, you could go, like, January, like, around now, you could go to Walmart, and there'd be, like, a whole section of the toy car aisle of, NASCAR's this big, NASCAR's this big, NASCAR's this big. And, and some of them were, like, for guys that, like, had, like, a 6-race deal out of the 36-race season or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or, like, their sponsors, like, Pennsylvania Power and Light. And you'd be able to buy a die-cast of it.
That's crazy.
Even here. And now, like, the company that, like, I went to Walmart and they had one, like, semi-truck hauler and, like, 2 Hot Wheels-sized die-cast cars on the shelf. I'm like, the sport is fucked.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to get them young. They had to get me young. I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? I was a kid. They were fast cars. They were brightly colored. All I needed.
Mm-hmm.
My mom took me to see Ricky Rudd's Tide car at the Kmart. I was like 4 years old. And I used to sleep underneath a poster of Ricky Rudd every night.
That's cool.
Years before I even knew what gay was. Okay? And that's just I can't remember who I stole that joke from. There was a guy that used to write articles about baseball, and he talked about how he lived in Maryland, and he used to kiss a Cal Ripken baseball card every night years before he knew what gay was. But anyways.
I was a kid who slept with a football because I thought it'd make me better at football.
Oh, that's adorable. But yeah, like I was, so like we went and we saw the Tide car. Fluorescent orange, fluorescent yellow, white, great color combo. I still love that paint scheme to this day.
Yeah.
But I had the Ricky Rudd poster. Every time we went shopping and I was in the cart as a little kid and we were going down the detergent aisle, I'm like, Mom, you're buying Tide, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's the race car laundry detergent. You know, Downey doesn't have a NASCAR.
Yeah.
How many top 10s did Downey get last year? None.
That's actually that is great.
And they don't do that kind of thing anymore.
It
They aren't really marketing.
It's supposed to be an advertising sport.
That's
honestly.
really what it is. I mean, you've got M&M's Mars, right? Mm-hmm. Has been sponsoring Kyle Busch for however many years. I mean, and Kyle Busch isn't. I wouldn't say Kyle Busch is one of the top 5 best drivers now, or top 10.
But he was.
No. I'm gonna rephrase this so it's a little bit less controversial. I'm not saying Kyle Busch is one of the top 10 best drivers now. I'm saying he's one of the top 10 best drivers of all time.
Okay.
And M&M's Mars has sponsored him the majority of his career. One of his nicknames is Candyman because of that. Sorry.
Wow.
M&M's is canceling their sponsorship of Kyle Busch after this year.
Why?
They want to go in a different direction. Like, you can't get any better than that.
Is he older?
No, I mean, NASCAR's going in this stupid youth direction where, like, used to be... Okay, so Dale Earnhardt had a great season in 2000. He was on track to finish 3rd in the 2001 Daytona 500 before he died. He was 49 years old.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Now there's this whole youth thing where it's like we need 22-year-olds racing with daddy's money that were basically trained to race go-karts when they came sliding out of the fucking womb.
It's just like any
and
other
old
sport.
guys are getting pushed out of it, and it's like I got my wife into watching NASCAR last year, and I'm like, do you dislike Kurt Busch or Kevin Harvick or any of these older drivers because of their age? And she's like, no, like the age thing doesn't come into it. It's all about personality and how good they are on track. Mm-hmm. And the thing about NASCAR is it's kind of one of the last, probably the last form of motorsports where the drivers have true personalities.
Yeah.
You know, like...
What about Formula One? Is that big?
God, Formula One's huge, like, worldwide. It's just like, if you don't qualify on the front of the grid, you don't have a chance. And there's very few actual personalities in Formula One. And the best drivers don't have... The people that are the best at Formula One are, again, guys that came out of the womb driving go-karts.
Yeah,
and they don't have enough time. Their whole schedule and their whole lives are so regimented, they don't have time to be fun or interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when... You know, I find out this NASCAR driver is a watermelon farmer, or was a watermelon farmer, or like this...
We need a real Ricky Bobby.
We really do. And it's like, it's funny, because you talk to different people in the sport about... Some people think Talladega Nights was the best thing to happen to the sport, and some people think Talladega Nights was the worst thing to happen to the sport, and I see both sides of it.
That's hilarious. It's just a hilarious movie.
I love that movie, and it is really funny, but, like, it raised the profile of the sport, and it also, like, reinforced some negative stereotypes about the sport, which made it, like, really kind of bad. I thought the South Park Poor and Stupid episode was hilarious, but everyone missed the point.
Really?
Of that episode. Like, if you look at the comments on clips of that episode, it went right over everyone's head. Yeah. But anyways, like, yeah, it's like I love stock car racing. I love oval racing specifically because there is a psychological aspect of it that, like, I love baseball. Baseball is great to me, and I love that mental that psychological battle I'm getting some beer in me now. Psychological battle between the batter and the pitcher, right?
Yeah.
And oval racing in motorsport is the only place where you actually see that psychological battle happen on a large scale. And now that I've gotten into sim racing...
Oh, yeah, you were talking about
that.
that.
Yeah, I see both sides of it now because I've gotten psyched out by how other people drive around me, and
Yeah.
I've been able to drive around other people and psych them out.
Oh.
And it's like, and it's such a cool feeling. It doesn't necessarily have, and I love road course racing. I love endurance racing, sports car racing, whatever.
Yeah.
I love all forms of motorsport. But oval has such a hold on me. NASCAR has such a hold on me because of the psychological aspect of it.
I never would have thought about that being so.
So I'll give you an example from sim racing, right? Right when I first started, I'm in the top 5. I had qualified 7th, had moved up to 5th because a couple of like accidents happened in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to race clean. I'm trying to stay out of everybody's way. I'm just trying to hold my position. And I'm going around, and as a result of that, I'm not the fastest guy on the track, right? I'm not even the 5th fastest guy on the track. I am just the guy in 5th position.
Okay.
And there's this guy, he's about 4 car lengths behind me. Every time we go into a corner, I've got the good line, but I don't have the best line. He has the best line. He gets 2 car lengths from me, backs off. Does this for 4 corners. I'm psyching out. I'm getting psyched out trying to stay ahead of the guy without getting into him. Psych myself out, spin the car. I come back, I finished 6th. It was a really good recovery, so it wasn't a bad race, but it taught me a lot about that psychological aspect of racing, right? So I'm in another race now on a much bigger track, 1.5 mile track, Charlotte Motor Speedway this past week, and I'm racing with this guy, and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm not trying to be a dickhead at all.
Yeah.
I know that I'm the faster car. I know that I have the better line. I know that his position will be mine eventually. But I'm trying to be a nice guy. I'm trying not to get into him too much. I get the low line, the good line around the corner. He tries to close the door on me. I don't want to hit the guy. So I go down below the white line, which throws off my racing line, now pushes my racing line, my apex of my corner, up a few hundred feet, right? So I do what's called a slide job without really trying to. And I'm aware of it too because he puts me down. And so when I come back up, centripetal force pushes me up the track, right? Or centrifugal force, I'm sorry. Centrifugal force pushes me up the track.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I try to do it far enough that I'm more than a car length in front of him. I don't want to do a slide job on him and tag him and get us both out or get him out. That's not how I want to gain positions. It's not how I want to race. So I get far enough ahead before I let off and slide up that I've got a full car length on him. He did not expect me. That's not what he expected. That's not what his experience was. His experience was he pushes me down below the low line. I either let off or spin. I'm a little bit better of a driver than that. I'm not a great driver by any stretch, but I'm a little better than that. So I slide up. He doesn't expect it. He takes the high line and puts himself into the wall, and I don't see him the rest of the race because I psyched him out by doing something that was the right thing to do, but wasn't necessarily what he expected me to do. So it's like that psychological aspect of it is really what keeps it interesting, especially to me.
What's super interesting about the like sim racing and just in general, like sport is going to move in that direction where there is going to be a lot of AR sports in the future that people like watch and people get invested in.
Yeah, so if you want to, thank you for the setup. If you want to watch me do sim racing, 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights. I'm in the now Downshift Esports League for what's called Street Stock, which is like the kind of cars that you'll see at like your local short track.
Okay.
Like Barberton Speedway.
Okay, that's sweet.
But we're going to be racing on bigger tracks, doing all kinds of stuff. Our first race is at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is an actual 1.5 mile NASCAR track.
Wow.
You know? And
Do you
that's
Twitch
on
it?
Tuesday night. Yeah, it's going to be on Twitch. It's going to be on YouTube streaming, and it's going to be streaming on Facebook.
Okay, awesome.
But they do it super professional. They have like a whole package that they do with like, they actually have guys in the booth.
That's awesome.
And so it's like you're watching a real race because
That's
you're
awesome.
watching
You do
a
it
real
right.
race.
Yeah.
So I've got my sponsorships. I've got Funny Stop Comedy Club on the car.
Nice.
I've got Decal Shop, which is my friend Brian Walsh down in Jacksonville, Florida, who makes all my stickers that I sell after the shows. He's going to be making my t-shirts soon. And I've got Racer Walsh, which is his other company that sells Turbo Ford parts, which I own a couple Turbo Fords.
Nice.
So I got that on there, but I painted my car, or had a guy do a paint scheme for me to look like Marty Robbins. You know the old country singer, Marty Robbins, Big Iron. Have you heard Big Iron?
Maybe. Oh yeah, Big Iron on
Big
my
Iron,
hand.
El Paso. Yeah. That guy loved racing. He sold so many records that for fun, and again, I think the sport has moved, unfortunately, too far away from this, but he was a gentleman racer that entered 35, 36 races in the 70s, early 80s, before he passed away. Entered NASCAR races, and instead of having a sponsor on his car, it just said Marty Robbins, which is such a fucking power move.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he pivoted from entertainment to racing,
That's
and like
awesome.
he actually got a handful of top tens too. Like he
Wow,
was a
he's
competitive
pretty good.
driver. Yeah, like if
You
he
heard
would have.
about Bert and Tom Segura?
Oh my god, I don't think that. I love Bert. I love Tom
Bert's-
Segura. I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
I think they'll have some funny videos of Tom driving and Bert being.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good content.
I don't think you're going to see them in like Cup Series. You're not going to see them in Xfinity. You're not going to see them in trucks. You're going to see them at like local short tracks like Barberton, banging around having a good time, which is
Yeah.
what I want to do at some point. But my goal is that I painted my car or had a paint scheme made up like Marty Robbins' paint scheme. Because that's like my idol, because he pivoted from entertainment to racing, which I would love to do. Like I would love nothing more than to
get a special.
get to a point, get a special and blow all of that money, like finishing 35th 5 times in 5 different truck races. Because the funny thing about NASCAR is that no matter what racing series you participate in, no matter what you do with your life, if you entered one NASCAR race, your Wikipedia article has your bio, and at the bottom of it has your NASCAR results. Because that is the top form of motorsport in North America.
That's
So
sweet.
on English Wikipedia, like I've got a friend of mine that's from around this area that is a like champion sports car racer,
Yeah.
super talented guy. He did one Xfinity, which is the AAA, like the second tier
Yeah.
series race at Mid Ohio and finished like 35th because like the car spun or something.
Yeah.
and it was not a super high end car, but his Wikipedia first thing under his bio.
NASCAR.
He probably has a Wikipedia because of the one NASCAR start he did. I think that's super hilarious. It's like Cam VanDerHorst is a stand-up comedian, screenwriter, and NASCAR competitor.
Yeah, that'd be
It's just
sweet.
like, yeah, it entered 6 races, 0 wins, 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, 0 poles. But damn it, I tried.
Dude, speaking of screenwriting, I've always wanted. I wrote like one movie in my notes. Got an outline and like.
I can get you in touch with somebody. Somebody followed me on Twitter that has been doing it's Cindy Bagel. She's written like episodes of like I believe like Mork and Mindy. I know she's written episodes of Married with Children. Like really talented screenwriter. Like really what's the word I'm looking for here? She's really established.
Yeah.
And she's done a really great job of hooking up young screenwriters or people just getting started. And she's actually hooked me up with a guy in Canada, a lawyer in Canada who's writing a screenplay, and I'm helping him to write his screenplay.
That's awesome.
So hopefully we can sell that to somebody. But yeah,
That's super
I'll
awesome.
get with you and I'll set you up with her because like she loves the art of the sitcom so much. Like
My movies, the movie I write.
Oh, you're writing a movie.
See, so I wrote a movie in high school, and I've evolved the idea since. Just always
What's
thought
it
on
about?
it.
Let's hear about it.
It's a life story. It's super. It's a guy, and he
Okay.
grows up in a troubled household, right?
All right.
But he kind of just becomes an asshole, but he's
Yeah.
a really successful asshole, and he loses his brother in a his brother was trying to sell pot, and he loses his brother to a robbery, and it sends him down this dark path. But he gets super successful, loses all of his connections with people, and then but also throughout you see him having these great, amazing times and these funny moments with people he has no care for, no connection to, and he's being this person for everyone else, and he never does anything for himself.
Yeah.
And he lives this life, and then at the come end of his life, it shows him crumbling, and then it finishes up with a nice, beautiful little ribbon, where it becomes somehow happy ending after you've been mindfucked for an hour and a half.
I like that. It's like have you ever read? You've seen American Psycho, I'm sure, right? Mm-mm. It's a terrific movie. It's great.
I'll have to check it out. Wait, American Psycho,
With Christian Bale, directed by Mary Herron,
wait,
written by Bret Easton Ellis.
like the Psycho, like stabby movie?
No, it's not the Alfred Hitchcock movie, American
Okay.
Psycho.
Okay.
Where it's a yuppie in 1987,
Okay.
killing women
Oh,
and
wow.
and his coworkers. And he gets away with it because everybody's so self-absorbed. But there's like a lot of different like layers to it and levels to it, and I don't think there's a wrong way to interpret that movie, really. But anyways, I think you should watch that. That's good. But there's I feel like that would inspire you with like what you're working on. Because I'm not saying what you're doing sounds similar. What I'm saying is that might give you some brain
something
food
to work with.
Yeah,
because this is an idea that
it's a great, darkly hilarious movie too that you should watch.
Yeah, I've been thinking. I've always thought of that for like years and years. Probably 4 or 5 years. I've had that idea, and I want to keep it and keep developing it.
Yeah.
But right now, what I want to do to start honing my skill in creating a interesting narrative on a screen is what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to make a short film that is going to be broken down into TikToks.
Oh God.
And I'm going to play all 4 characters, and I'm going to.
I'm sure it's great. It's just boy.
Yeah, well, TikTok, I got 800 followers on TikTok. I could get out there, and it'd be nice just to, like, get some experience in trying to create, it's a little bit of acting, it's a little bit of writing, it's a little bit of storyline.
So when I was studying computer science in college, me and one of my best friends, we didn't actually code the app, but we had designed basically the outline for how it would work. Mm-hmm. We created this app called Mind Rape.
Great.
And just the whole point of the app was to gradually undermine your mental health and well-being. And then TikTok came out, and it did such a much better job of mind raping people than our app could, and we never followed up on it. We were just like, we had to give it to the Chinese Communist Party. They really got us with TikTok.
Dude, they're really good.
Great job.
The Chinese Communist Party is good at what they do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's I don't use TikTok. I don't have a TikTok account. I've never downloaded the app. Just from what I've seen, it is mind rape.
Oh, it's entertaining. They do figure out what you're into.
It's entertaining mind rape, yeah.
Yeah. Their algorithm's aggressive. It's an aggressive algorithm that knows what you like.
As a sexual assault survivor myself, I do not throw the word rape around often, but TikTok is mind rape.
Yeah. So is all social media. It's always,
I mean, it is all social media. TikTok is just so fucking good at it.
Their algorithm is an aggressive algorithm.
It's amazing at undermining our mental health. Great job.
I think it's a great opportunity for me to. I'll put it on YouTube too, most likely.
Yeah, I'll watch it if it's on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's a great opportunity for me to try and kind of get some people interested in my page, and because my page promotes the podcast, and I just want to
sure
grow everything. But I've always wanted to do something, and I said, why not start with 1 minute at a time? You know?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, that's like
what
was that show 24, where the show took place in real time, and every episode of the season was 1 hour of real time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool concept.
Yeah, but this is something I could start working on because I'm a busy guy. I'm doing podcasts. I'm working. I'm at the Funny Stop. I'm at the different bar shows.
You really grind. I really respect how hard you grind.
Yeah, dude.
And maybe one day you'll be funny too, which I'm really pulling for.
Oh yeah, man. That's the goal. The goal is to one day make a person laugh.
It's the goal. Look, there's 4 stages of stand-up comedy. All right. Stage 1 is I'm fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. Stage 2 is holy shit, I'm not funny at all. Mm-hmm. Stage 3 is well, I'm not funny, but I'm funnier than these people. And stage 4 is holy shit, I'm fucking hilarious.
Really?
So I don't know what stage you are at now, but it does get better.
Yeah.
It gets better, and then it gets worse, and then you get jaded, and then you get...
yeah, I think it's probably a lot of phases almost of those 4 stages.
It really is, yeah. You just go through it your whole time. Because if you were mentally...
as an open micer,
yeah,
you go through that there, and then you go through it again as you're trying to become a feature act.
Right, exactly. And it's like if you were mentally healthy and stable, you wouldn't be doing this to begin with. So it's kind of, yeah. So that combined with TikTok is just like super mind rape.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing all the right things.
Are you okay? Are you doing all right?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I got a busy mind.
Yeah.
It's like I can't slow down and focus, and so I miss stuff. I'm all over the place. I make a lot of mistakes with things because my mind is just very I don't have control over my mind yet.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's good.
I think that's natural for 21 too. So I don't know what's going on at all. Dude, I used to think I was so smart. Like when I was 17, 18.
Oh yeah.
I was that kid in school though that I'd sit in the back of the class
Jerking off.
I'd sit in the back of the class, just freaking. We had Chromebooks at school. You know,
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm playing games.
We had notebooks.
Yeah, we had Chromebooks.
It's my boomer moment for the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm playing
Drink another
games.
one of your
I'm
beers.
slacking off, and I'm acing the tests. And
I'm going to tell you the most important piece of information that I wish someone had told me. All right. It's going to be one of the meanest things you've ever heard.
Oh, nice.
But I needed to hear this, and you need to hear this, and everybody needs to hear this. A lot of fucking people were the smartest person in their high school.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But, so, I used to think, because I could...
You used to think that meant something, and then you
Yeah.
just realized public school is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, I didn't go to public school.
Oh, you didn't? Where'd you go?
St. V.
Wow. Oh, man.
So, I was always able to slack off in high school and get good grades.
Yeah.
I didn't do homework. I just would ace projects and tests because projects were fun for me, so I could get my mind to involve in a project. And test taking is not about knowing the information. It's about knowing, well, my history teacher wrote this question and he wants us to get the answer right because that makes him look better. What is the right answer?
Right.
I don't think about knowing the information. I think about how's the teacher make his test?
Again, it's like what I was talking about with oval racing. It's like psychology. It's this weird psychological aspect of how are they trying to steer me to the correct answer without being blatant about it. Can we take another piss break? I broke the seal.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we
Let's
can
take a little pause real
put
quick.
the
All right, we are back. We were talking about school, and I was saying, like, I used to, like, when I graduated high school, I thought, oh, wow, this life, like, I thought because I could do that I was going to be able to do that with everything. I was going to be able to slack and be smart enough with this, because I understand systems in a way that's hard to explain. Like, I guess I just have a big picture mind. So, like, from a young age, I never, like you said, you had an age that flipped you from respecting authority. I went into school with, like, dude, this whole thing kind of seems like a scam attitude. I was like a natural born conspiracy theorist.
Awesome.
So my whole life, I've always been like, this is kind of bullshit. And so I was always in trouble, always doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing, not paying attention, not focusing, getting into things with other kids, and then but in high school, I wasn't such a bad kid. I mean, I had some detentions, but that's just because we had a dress code and you weren't supposed to have your phone out. And I didn't care. Like, if I get a detention, I get a detention. Like,
yeah,
what's that to me?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, there is that point when you learn that there is life after high school.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, to paraphrase late 20th century poet and playwrights Daryl Hall and John Oates, there is life after high school, and you kind of learn at some point that, like, nothing that happens in high school matters after high school.
Nope.
Like, your test score, your standardized test scores matter, your ACT, your SATs, whatever. Yeah. But, like, I stayed up till 2 a.m. playing Halo fucking the morning before my
I did fine on my ACT, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But,
like, okay, yeah, so, like, you learn that, like, all I learned, really, anything interesting that I remember or that I know now, you know what I mean? That I learned when I was growing up is stuff I kind of figured out and sought out on my own. The only thing I really learned in school is how to deal with assholes and how to operate within a system of assholes and make it work.
Yeah, that's corporate America. I mean, school's training you
to
to behave in corporate.
Right.
But like, when I came out of high school and went to college, I was like, I'm real smart. I got this, you know. College.
Oh yeah, and it kicks
wanna,
your ass.
Yeah.
You have to put effort in when you never had to put in effort before, because school is designed for, like, fucking the lowest possible denominator of idiots.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, school isn't necessarily about certain parts of if you're going to become a doctor, intelligence
Hold on.
Intelligence is pretty
important. Is Sierra Nevada paying you at all?
No, I wish.
There we go.
But I'd love to get Rheingeist. I usually drink Rheingeist Wowie on here. They're pineapple, and
I do love me some Rheingeist.
Yeah, but where was I? Oh, college. Yeah, and then I went to college, and I come back, and, you know, at 16 years old, it's like, Mom, I should be able to go wherever I want in my car. I shouldn't have to ask you. I have a car. I paid for it. I should be able to do whatever I want. I know what I'm doing. Your car breaks down, and you're like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. 18 years old, you're like, all right, this world, like, I can go do anything. I'm an adult. I can go buy cigarettes. You know, we can't do that anymore.
I gotta look it up really quick. There's a very apt Mark Twain quote. I wish Mark Twain would have existed in the podcast era, because I would have listened to Mark Twain's podcast. Mark Twain.
And like while you're looking that up, like 18, I'm like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. Now at 21, I'm like, dude, you probably shouldn't ask me like anything because I have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, it's this weird realization that's happened since getting out of high school, and it's taken almost 4 years, where I'm like, dude, I really have no idea about pretty much anything. And I just know the little things that I know, and you realize how little you know. Like, you get less smart as you get out of high school, because when you graduate high school, you're like, oh, they taught me everything I need to know. No, they didn't.
Yeah, no,
they didn't teach you anything, and you're slowly realizing how little you know, and it's like you don't know less, but in
Your world, you don't know less. Your world has gotten larger.
Yeah, you don't know less. You know the same amount of things, but the amount of information that you know is out there is greater. So like it's like every year you live, at 10 years old, when you turn 11, that's almost like a tenth of your life. That's a huge, like a year is a tenth of your life. A year is so long when you're 10 years old. A year feels forever. At 50 years old,
it's just whatever.
A year is 1/50th of your life, and a year is so short compared to your relative understanding.
Dude, it's so hard to explain that to fucking people, because there's people of a certain age that again, like there was a lot of stuff I was doing before I got into stand-up that I'm not doing anymore, because stand-up has eaten up all that time. And one of those things was I wanted to be a motorcycle instructor. I wanted to teach people how to ride motorcycles. And one of the hardest things to learn is that if you've got 20 years of riding, you don't necessarily have 20 years of riding experience. There are a great many people on motorcycles that have just repeated the first year of riding experience 20 times. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I completely.
And life works that way too. Like, there's people that, like, I had 2 hours of training on how to operate this piece of machinery in 1978, and I'm getting ready to retire in 5 years, and no fucking college-educated whatever, Caden, Aiden, whatever, is not going to come in and tell me how to do my job. It's like, well, maybe you've been doing it wrong since 1978.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe you've been repeating that same 2 hours of training 4 times a day since 1978.
And it's changed since 1978.
Yeah, so this Mark Twain quote I wanted to read to you is, when I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant that I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's fucking awesome.
I wish Mark Twain had a podcast.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing
If
quote.
I could go back in time and meet anybody, Mark Twain would probably be...
I kind of want to meet Hitler.
Yeah. There's a great Norm Macdonald quote from one of his, when he was on the YouTube fucking red carpet thing. Did you ever read that? He's like, I'd go back in time to kill Hitler, and I'd be so worried about getting lost in his fucking beautiful eyes. And, like, it's this, like, huge, like, corporate, very regimented thing, and, like, Jenny Slate is freaking out, like, we gotta move on, we gotta end the segment.
So
and Norm Macdonald's just being Norm Macdonald. Just,
yeah.
It's great. But yeah, it's literally all 12 years of school teaches you is how to operate within the system or outside of the system to your own end, and how to deal with people.
Yeah, if you don't do well in school, like I didn't fit into a school system very well, and what that taught me is not, like, people will be like, oh, school did me wrong. I didn't do, like, school was so wrong for me, and now my life is screwed. If you don't do well in school, that means when you get out of school, when you're done with school, that your avenue in life can't be through the system that the average person who did well in school takes. You have to take a different avenue to be happy, to be successful.
Like I was
in happiness.
I was a dorky fucking kid in school, man. I was like, in retrospect, I would have beaten myself up in school. You know,
would have beaten myself up.
I used to think bullying was the worst thing that could happen, and then we've got a whole generation of kids that weren't bullied, and I'm like, wow, this is way worse.
Yeah, no, bullying is essential to character building to a certain extent.
I think
like,
there's
you have to be able to be with guys and have your balls busted. And
you have to exactly. You have to take a certain amount of ball busting. I don't necessarily think I'm not saying like we should let
ball busting.
Ball busting, yeah. And I think a lot of the things that are defined as bullying, or a lot of the things even as a kid that I defined as bullying, like what I'm saying is like actual bullying in terms of like physical abuse. All right. Getting like actually like locked into lockers or getting swirlies and shit, like maybe that's a step too far, but like the idea of like somebody telling you like, hey, you're acting like a real fucking dork right now. Knock it off, right? Like,
that actually could be helpful.
I would be a totally different person if I hadn't experienced that. But the funny thing is like when I went off to college, and I lived on campus the first year I was at college, and like the first or second day there, I was like, there's nobody here from high school. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. I can be whoever I want to be, or I can be whoever I am.
Dude,
I'm not surrounded by a group of people that has known me since the 3rd grade while I was developing a personality that has already decided by freshman, sophomore year who I am. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, I decided I could be whoever I wanted to be, so I decided to be me, and it turns out I'm a pretty cool guy. So, like, I had a great time in college. Probably should not have had as good of a time, and probably should have, focused less on sports cars and more on, like, what I was actually there for.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've dropped out of college 3 times.
Nice.
I was doing computer science. I dropped out a 3rd time last year, which I didn't think was possible. But I comedy started picking up.
Yeah.
And I had to pick one. I mean, I was part of this IBM student program for mainframe computers. I had been told I had more or less had a job lined up after I got my degree.
Yeah.
It's like, or I could make like $12,000 a year telling jokes on stage. So I made the wrong choice, but here I am, hanging out with you, which is cool.
Comedy's fun, man. Let's get into the comedy a little bit. When did you start?
So I did 8 or 9 years ago. I did a few open mics, then changed careers and couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
I actually like emceed a couple like shows locally and stuff. I had a good time doing it, but I had to stop because I had changed a different job. I started selling cars. I did that for like 8 months, but for some reason. Yeah.
Oh
I sold luxury cars too, so I had to be like on.
Oh, you had a spiffy jacket.
Yeah, I had nice suits. I sold 3 cars one day on a Saturday, and the guy that owned the dealer group bought me like a really nice Xenia suit that I don't fit into anymore because I got fat over quarantine. But I really took it seriously. I'd always wanted to do it again. I loved it. Like every time I did comedy, it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Before I did comedy, I actually did singer-songwriter stuff.
Oh, really?
I would play music, and I would talk about like really, I would write songs about really serious stuff that I'd gone through and stuff that had happened to me. But I found that no matter how I'd written music, because I've been playing music since I was in the 4th or 5th grade, I found that I would always write songs with like the verses as a setup and the chorus as a punchline.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, that was just the way I wrote songs. And then I started doing comedy and I loved it. And then I took a break. I took a long break, about 8 years.
Yeah.
And then came back to it with all these ideas.
And when was that? When you came back?
I can tell you exactly. Vamp a little bit. Let's find something, because I can tell you the exact day.
Awesome. Yeah, so I
need to
put it in my phone.
up.
I put it in my phone the day I started. Dude, comedy is this.
Well, I write dates on everything in my notebook that I take
nice.
with me everywhere, but I'm like 3 notebooks deep now.
Yeah. Dude, comedy is this thing, like you said, it feels so right when you're doing it.
Yeah, if you're
and if it is right for you. I guess for some people it probably doesn't.
Yeah, I hate to, like, this is going to sound super pretentious. I fucking hate the comedy podcast where guys that get on stage and tell dick jokes for 40 minutes talk about the craft of it and how, like, we're speaking truth to power, man. Like, fuck off. But, like, for real, like, if you're good at it, stand-up feels like the most natural thing in the world, to me.
It's so, it's such, like, you're so far away.
God, hell.
When I'm on stage, that's the only thing that's going on, and it's one of the only times in my life where that's the only thing that's going on for me. Like, my mind is hard for me to calm.
Yeah, so early August 2020, I started doing it again.
Okay.
And I had just gone to watch the first time at Funny Stop at an open mic, and I asked Pete, and he said, no, you got to sign up ahead of time. He did the thing where Pete gets, like, really angry, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, no, you didn't call ahead, you're not going up. And he's like, do you have 5 minutes of clean material? And I'm like, yes, sir, because I did. Mm-hmm. And I went up and did it, and then I got moved on to... John Brown moved me on. John Brown was judging. And I got moved on, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know there was a contest. And I went home, and I felt great.
Really?
I got on, like, a group call with, like, a bunch of guys, and we were just joking.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And, like, we were, like, a diverse group on the group call, too, so we had, like, a lot of shit we could shit on each other for, you know? Mm-hmm. No one talks about that, by the way, you know?
What?
About how we banter among ourselves. I don't know.
Us comedians?
I don't want to get into it.
Oh, no,
not a comedian thing. Never mind. I don't want to get into it. I'm too drunk to be able to be, because I haven't eaten today, except for half of that fucking thing.
Yeah, that's like,
I'm not eloquent enough to come across the way I want to come across.
okay.
So I'm going to avoid certain topics. But
yeah. I assume you're talking about what me and Waleed's whole podcast was about. Me and Waleed's whole podcast was about, like, busting balls that people that people don't like you doing, but, like...
Oh, yeah,
the
like
way
a
us
third-party observer being like, wow, those guys are rotten. Both of those guys belong in jail and or canceled.
If you
It's
stood
like,
around the comedians at the comedy club and you, like, are just listening, you'd be
you
like...
say terrible shit to people.
Yeah.
I'll be talking to, like, do you know Alexa?
Yeah.
One of the funniest fucking people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And all the time I think of, like, hey, Alexa, here's a transgender joke that I obviously can't use. Do you want it?
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, the last joke I gave her a tag on one of her old jokes that's brilliant about dating mechanics.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm like, you know, like, you date a car guy, like, that's who you should be dating because, like, you know, they're never going to get down on you for how you spend your money. Like, oh, big deal, you spent 10 grand on a boob job and hair extensions. He's got 10 grand wrapped up in an IROC Z on jack stands that hasn't moved in 6 years.
Yeah, dude.
He's no judgment there.
Mechanics have no problem with exchanging parts.
Yeah, exactly. The least judgmental people in the world. And, like, I gave it because I can't use it, and I gave her that. And, you know, I don't know if she's going to use it or not, but, like, just comics are like, hey, I've got a joke that I would tell if I was black or if I was Muslim or if I was a woman, but I can't because I'm not. But if you want it, here it is. And it's like I have other jokes be like, hey, I noticed that you're a white person and your family probably owns slaves. So here's a joke that I can't use, but if you want it, here it is. And it's like this great. I love the
That's so funny.
The fucking great thing about stand up is that, like, sometimes you get into scenes like stand up comedy scenes that are like very catty and very like, and they talk about everything but what's funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the people you need to avoid.
Yeah.
You just don't get, like, the best piece of advice I got was don't get involved in drama. But what true stand-up comics talk about when they get together is, like, just how to be funny.
Yeah, ball busting, bullshit.
Ball busting,
being funny,
how to be funny, how to make, yeah. And it's like, I love...
Dude, it makes... Talking to comedians all the time, it makes it like...
You have to be so fucking quick just to get a word in.
Well,
just to have something funny to get in there.
But also, like, when you talk to comedians all the time, like, I do about a podcast a week with a comedian, so that's
right.
2 hours, 2 to 3 hours just talking to a comedian. And then I go to 2 to 3 comedy nights a week. I'm there for another 2 to 3 hours. I'm talking to comedians. You love talking comedy so much. You go home to your girlfriend, and she's like, "Please shut the fuck up about comedy."
Like, so my wife's a therapist, right? She's a counselor. So it's like I never get to complain about work or anything because it's like no matter anything I do in my life is fun. Like I get paid to do things that I think are fun.
That's the goal.
But like everybody, like complaining's the greatest thing in the world to do.
It's fun.
It's fun. Like everyone loves complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't matter what your background is. If you found somebody like an uncontacted species in the Amazon and you could somehow figure out how to speak their language, you would figure out that they love complaining.
Yeah, they'd complain about what's wrong. Everyone complains about what's wrong.
And it's like you're never...
But it's an instinctual thing because...
I think, and I don't know if everybody's like this, but like if it's a serious problem, you don't really talk about it. You try... You have so much other shit. But if it's a minor to medium problem...
You gotta go.
You gotta complain about it.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Because that's the only thing you can do about certain problems,
Right,
too.
right. Yeah,
Like,
so...
Some problems, it's like, yeah, it's going to be fine eventually. But goddamn, that stock market's down!
Yeah, it's always like something, you know what I mean? It's like I got a rock chip. I fucking... The store was out of the fucking Keebler coconut fudge cookies, so I got to go to the fucking cartel to buy the Samoas again. Like, it's always something, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that there's, like, Keebler Samoas? You don't have to get them from the Girl Scout cartel?
No.
You can just get them on your own.
That's crazy.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Fuck a Girl Scout. That's crazy. Well,
I don't like to support women bettering themselves, having fun, feeling good, all right?
Yeah.
When you're a guy who looks like me, you got to gaslight as hard as you can to keep them down. I'm kidding. Women,
kick that pedestal right out from under him. Misogyny's amazing. Oh, wait, what?
I love getting in arguments. I love getting in arguments online with chicks because like it's always like some girl with the stupid round glasses and purple hair and fucking 30 candles, and she's always like, "Who hurt you, sweetie?" It's like, oh, my vice principal in my junior high school when I was 14. Anyways, go on. You win the argument.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. The only good thing about being molested is that when you drop that in an argument, the argument's over. You win.
I mean, you could...
What the fuck were we talking about? Oh, comedy. How I got involved in comedy.
Yeah, how you got involved in comedy.
Yeah, let's talk less about... childhood trauma. There we go. That's full circle, all right? Nobody who does stand-up comedy is 100% mentally healthy. You wouldn't. You go on stage, even if it's like a comic that does a lot of crowd work and insults the crowd and stuff, they're going on stage going, "Please love me." Mm-hmm. I need, like,
That's the idea.
Yeah, it's really...
You go up there because you want you have some thing in you wants that attention.
Yeah, you want that attention, you want that validation, or you have something important to say and no one's ever listened to you. I had an automotive podcast. We had like 600,000+ listeners a year at the end of it, right? And the podcast broke down because people change over time, and I just became like maybe a better or worse version of myself depending on who you ask, and my co-host became just a fucking whatever. Fuck it, he's not gonna see it anyways. He just became a fucking asshole. He became Twitter personified, just one of the most insufferable fucking people. But like when your boy's over with his girlfriend, right? And like they're not getting along. And like when they go home and like you text them like, "Are you guys okay?" Last few episodes of our podcast, I had people text me, "Are you guys okay?" Because it was that kind of relationship, right? We were best friends. I was in his wedding, for fuck's sake, right?
Oh, wow.
Like, anyhow, we had the podcast going for a long time. I don't know where the fuck I was going with this. I should not be drinking. Good job having beers.
Yeah, dude, I always like to have a little bit of... I mean, I'd be drinking with you if it wasn't for January.
I respect that. But what were we talking about? We were talking about how I got involved in comedy and wanting that. Basically...
Just like your back.
I had an audience. I had a platform. But there were things I wanted to talk about.
That weren't part of that.
That not necessarily that, but the things that he were like, "I don't want you talking about that." And it's like, well, shit.
That's the thing I love about that show.
And that hurt our relationship too, right? Like that was a big thing through the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So like when I came out, because I didn't talk about my sexual abuse for like 14, 15 years.
Because some people never talk about it.
And I talked about it, and I said, I want to do a public service announcement. You don't have to be involved at all, because I was the one who's producing the audio for the episodes. I want to put it after as a public service announcement. It's like, hey, you've been listening to me. I'm a real guy. I'm a real man. Whatever. And like I was sexually abused. And being sexually abused doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you whatever.
And he didn't want that.
And it's okay. Yeah, and it's okay to go out and get it. Well, he was one of those people. He was like the Twitter person, right? He was like your typical Twitter liberal person that was, I can say all the right things, and I can say I'm here for you, and I can say I support you, and I can say this, that, and the other thing. But when it comes down to it, and someone actually takes you up on that, no mas. You get what I'm saying? Like he was good at saying all the right things and making it look like he was doing all the right things, but he himself was incapable.
What's the word for that person? The person who just like man, it's essentially the thing that the companies do where they don't necessarily like it's more about how they look.
It's more about how they look than what they're actually doing. Yeah.
There's a word for it.
Well, it's like it's kind of the same thing again. It's like a company being like, we donated $1 million to LGBT youth charities last year, and then they spend $8 million advertising the fact that they donated $1 million to charity. Why didn't you just donate $9 million to charity if it's so important to you?
Yeah. So, in comedy, in a standard week, where are you going up?
Really at this point, I'm just doing Funny Stop and whatever other gigs I can land elsewhere, like as far as like what I can do on Fridays and Saturdays. Pete's out of town a lot with his son because his son's been doing a lot of football stuff. Yeah. So he's had me kind of running the funny stop.
Nice.
Not because I'm especially qualified, but because I live 0.4 of a mile up the street.
Nice, yeah.
That's how it works out. So, and I show up on time. That's literally the only two requirements. I'm pleasant, I show up on time, and I'm close.
Yeah, I'm always early.
It's
to
not
the
because I'm
stop.
funny. Yeah. Again,
I feel like that's how I've gotten my hosting gigs.
that's
just being there early.
Right. That's me too. Yeah. There's been so many times I got a feature spot once because someone didn't show up and I was there. Mm-hmm. A feature spot.
That's nice.
That's fucking imagine just being the first guy to the ballpark and they're like, "Oh, Barry Bonds didn't show up. Do you want to go up to bat?"
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Like it's the wildest shit to me that like there's this like whole trope of comedians being people who are like perpetually late. And I see people who are like professionals and they're late and it's cool, that works for them. I wasn't like raised that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But if you watch Joe Rogan's podcast, like when he's with a comedian that he's going up on stage with, he'll be like, yeah, we gotta be at the show, and show starts in about 45 minutes. 30 minutes later, with 15 minutes before the show starts, the other comedian will be like, hey, how far away is it? He's like, it's like 25 minutes. Well, he goes, don't worry, they won't start it without me.
Yeah, and that's just
Joe
like,
Rogan, though.
and it's fine. Like he that works for him. I don't know if I'm ever gonna. I probably will be that person if I ever make it.
If you're Joe
to that
Rogan,
level.
you
Yeah.
can do whatever the hell you want.
But like that's not the way that I was brought up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I had.
You earn lateness.
Yeah, I was the guy that had like the white collar job with benefits when I was like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
So like now I'm trying to reject that as hard as possible. Now I'm trying to figure out, you know what I mean, like how to
move into a van.
Right, like how to
live on a
not,
campground.
not necessarily
sell
like
all your belongings,
not
be broke
that
for the
far.
experience.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's really hard living in a fucking outfitted for living in Mercedes Sprinter van when my parents are bankrolling the whole thing. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah,
fucking van life people.
Well, dude, I want to be one by the end of the year.
Of course you fucking do.
I'm gonna save up some money, get myself a nice cheap van, do all the interior work myself, make some videos.
I got a fucking
it.
sweet van I could live in. I got an '87 Stanza wagon that
Really?
Oh man, I could fit a twin size mattress in the back of that thing.
Would you be able to help me find a van seller at the end of the summer?
God, I really don't want to, but I'd love. Yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you.
I'm not gonna. August is when I'll.
Here's the
have
thing:
the-
is I
the money
hate.
together.
I like you. I hate what you're trying to do, but I will help you so that you don't hurt yourself. I feel like I'm your dad right now. But yeah, okay. So comedy.
You might be my future. I might get a mullet, and you never know.
It pissed me off when everybody started growing mullets during quarantine. I'm like, no, you're wearing a fucking costume. Unless you got 2 Corvettes on jack stands that don't run in the backyard and a fucking chicken coop, I don't want to hear it.
Dude, I almost got a
They
mullet.
go, I'm so zany, I got a mullet. Like, you live in a $400,000 house.
Yeah.
Suck my dick.
I got I'll do the hipster of mullets. Like what you think about when you see a person with a mullet, when you think like, oh, this guy probably has chickens. You know, I do.
I love chickens. Chickens are smart animals. You know, chickens can do math at like an 8-year-old level, like an 8-year-old human being level. If you put like 4 treats here and like 8 treats here, the chicken's gonna look and go for the 8 treats every fucking time.
Wow.
Chickens are really smart. You can see it in their eyes. Chickens and lobsters.
They're little raptors.
Yeah, they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, and lobsters are pre-dinosaur.
Yeah. Well, I watched that video of that guy that had the saltwater tank that was like unoccupied, and he bought the grocery store lobster from Meyer or whatever.
It saved its life. Yeah.
Did you see its eyes? How its eyes would light up and it would start carrying its claws high. I learned about lobsters that lobsters, like all isopods, are intelligent and they have a sophisticated enough nervous system to recognize pain, but it's not sophisticated enough to go into shock. So if I were to shoot you in the shoulder right now,
So I could.
you would go into shock
Yeah, because to stop the pain.
to stop the pain. Lobsters do not do that.
Oh,
If
so
you
you-
kill a lobster, the meat goes bad immediately. So how do you prepare lobsters? You boil them alive. So if you're boiling a lobster alive, it hurts the
Real
whole
bad.
fucking 4.5 minutes it takes for that lobster to boil alive, or however long it takes.
Takes to kill it. Yeah.
3.5 to 5 minminutes.
Wow.
So I'm not eating lobster anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it sucks because
That's the thing with octopus.
I always wanted to do a crawfish boil because I got family down in New Orleans. Is one of my favorite places in the world.
Yeah, those are good.
Love New Orleans, and again, like to get back into it again, like being a fucking corny white guy, whatever. If you want to talk about a fucking post-racial society, fucking New Orleans. Everyone's too broke to care.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons.
You get people like Mark Normand and Theo Vaughn from that place.
Right, yeah.
you get some characters.
Right, yeah, and it's what was it? I think, was it Tennessee Williams that said that all cities are identical? Like Cincinnati and Los Angeles are identical and indiscernible from each other. All cities in America are interchangeable except for New Orleans.
Huh.
I think that was Tennessee Williams that said that. But my point is that I don't know what my point was. I can't eat lobster. That's my point. I can't eat shellfish. I can't eat seafood. I like swordfish though.
Swordfish?
Swordfish is good. Swordfish tastes like you put a bunch of spices on a steak. I used to date when I was in my early 20s. I was hard to believe now, but I was really attractive when I was in my early 20s. I had the twink body style, and when you're a straight man with the twink body style, you go for older women. And I went for women that had corporate expense accounts, and they would take me out to dinner, and I would get not the most expensive thing on the menu because I'm not an asshole, but I would get swordfish, which is way more expensive than a regular steak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it tastes like kind of like chicken steak spice. It's good. If you ever get a chance to
have some swordfish.
Yeah. If you get some swordfish. Are you you're still dating that girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that, I hope it works out for you.
Maybe she'll just let me. Maybe she'll just
tell
let
her,
me
like,
go
listen,
on a date
if
with
I
a
can
rich
go on a
lady.
date with like a fucking 45-year-old executive that looks really good for her age, just so I can eat some swordfish.
Yeah, I'll bring you some leftovers.
I'll be like, here are your options, sweetheart, honey. I'm gonna gaslight you into thinking this is a binary decision. You either I gaslit my wife into letting me get chickens. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we'll go back into comedy so we can wrap this all up. Yeah. Sorry, but your two options are you buy me swordfish, expensive, or you let me go out with a cougar
Who will buy me swordfish?
who will buy me swordfish.
I won't even use my good jokes, I promise.
I won't even use my good joke. Yeah, like if you're a reasonably attractive guy and you're like a 45-year-old woman, be like, yeah, I live with my parents on a bunk bed. Well, the top's a bunk bed, the bottom's a futon, and I stayed up till 3 a.m. trying to beat Sonic the Hedgehog 3 last night. And she'd be like, that's so funny. You're really handsome. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, gaslighting my wife and let me buy chickens. So the deal is years ago, I wanted a dog for a minute. It was because I was in therapy for acknowledging my sexual abuse after 15 years. Right up the street was a Tractor Supply, which is Disneyland for people like me.
Yeah.
And they had their baby chicks out. Right.
Mullet people love Tractor Supply.
And they had baby chicks, and I'd go look at the baby chicks because I've always wanted chickens since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And we moved out of a subdivision when I was like 4 or 5 years old. My parents looked at 3 houses, fucking House Hunter style, like HGTV, and 2 of them were farms, and one was the house that we ended up moving into.
Okay.
And I always wanted chickens. I always thought chickens were cool. And we ended up. I was looking at these baby chickens, but they had rescue dogs, and one of them was this black lab that was a special needs black lab. She had gone through some like really serious emotional trauma, whatever, just did not like people, but I am the animal whisperer. Animals love me. This dog loved me.
Yeah.
And when they ran the rescue, said like, if that dog ends, because she just brought it there just to try to socialize it. Like, we're not adopting this dog out, but that dog loved me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a sucker for animals. Like, I love all animals. Like, I believe animals are here to serve us, but our part of the bargain is that we take care of that animal and give it the best life possible. Like the way chickens are raised in
like
factory farms and stuff. Like, exactly! You get it!
Dude, that was good. Dude. I love a good misogynistic slip in.
You know.
They're fun with my girlfriend because she'll give you the playful slap. And she knows it's always good in good
So
humor.
just an aside, the thing is that I have 4 older sisters, and my mom was like a second wave feminist, like a reasonably, not like prominent in terms of like books and stuff, but like at her time, like anything that you told my mom she couldn't do, she wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like my mom was like a shock jock on the radio. My mom sold cars. This is in like the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
My mom was a politician.
Oh, wow.
My mom was a mechanical engineer for like doing military contracts. Like anything that only men did, my mom's like, fuck you, I want to do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
My mom won this like landmark sexual harassment case against the people she worked with on the radio because they were just rotten.
Wow.
And she walked into the Jaguar dealership and saw an MGB convertible rotating on a platform.
Yeah.
In the window and said how much, like she went from the courthouse with the check Didn't even go to the bank. Said, how much is that MG convertible? And they said it was this much. She said, I'll fucking take it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
See,
so my mom was my
feminist
mom
that's
was
awesome.
like a real my mom was like a real fucking badass. So like when I deal with like third wave or whatever comes
not
after,
comment section feminist.
The
only thing they do for feminism is comments.
right. So it's like it's really hard for me to like
There's a big
take
difference.
anybody that doesn't put in the effort. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to sound like a mama's boy or whatever, but like when you talk about like
No one quite.
that's very toxic. And the people that use the words toxic and problematic the most are the most actually toxic and problematic people you run into. But like, yeah, so it's like, it's really hard for me to like fucking appreciate people who talk more than do. You know what I mean? People who are human doings more, or human beings more than they are human doings. So like my mom by being like such a badass really ruined me on a lot of women.
Yeah, that's probably.
There was this girl that I went out with before I met my wife that we got along great. Really liked this girl. She really liked me. But her biggest, she had wealthy parents and she lived with them still. She was older than me. And her biggest aspiration in life was to be a housewife. And I didn't necessarily dislike that, but I disliked it's so weird because I like when people tell me what they want. But like I don't see a problem with it, but I was like,
if you can do it, like it's on. If you can do it, that probably.
Here's the thing.
Could be an exciting, like a good life if you do it right and you have a good husband,
right?
Who's gonna go on vacations with you.
And this is what I'm telling you. And this
that sounds miserable.
This woman would have been like she and my wife are like friends, but like there was something about it where I'm like, this isn't for me. This isn't the person I'm supposed to be with.
Yeah,
because like I won't ever. There will be a point. I had enough.
I need a person who has their own thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have your own thing, I'm too busy for you then.
Yeah, like my wife is super talented. My wife makes hand-sewn stuffed animals that like she designs the patterns and
awesome.
like stuff. Like I watch her like develop the patterns and stuff, and it's like it helps her out because I think like anybody like us that has like a job where even if I was doing stand-up full time,
Yeah.
right? I would still need to do something. I'd still need to work on cars. I'd still need to do the RC car racing like I do. I'd still need to do the sim racing. I need to do something where I'm working with my hands or I'm thinking or I'm using numbers. It's just something, right? Yeah. I just need to do something where I feel like I'm creating something.
Yeah.
And she does that. And she just does these amazing, it's called a Cute Zoo if you want to follow it.
Okay,
I want to have my wife's stuff. But like, I have so much respect for the fact that she has her own thing going on. You know what I mean? And like we can have conversations about the stuff we're working on.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Yeah, it is than having to carry the whole conversation by yourself.
Yeah, those are.
And it's like, and I'm not saying that like there's women out there I'm sure that are dating men that have fucking nothing going on.
There's plenty of them.
I've met them. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of them do stand up. I'm not calling anybody out like locally. There's people I've met that I'm just like,
I am. All of you.
Oh, fuck you. Is the camera still going?
No, the camera shut off here,
right.
But let's...
sorry, real quick. I wanted to talk about, finish up how I was talking about how I gaslit my wife and let me get chickens, and then talk about how I got into comedy, and then we can end. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so this special needs dog, I took my wife to meet her on a Saturday. Like, we're going to be here Saturday, and your wife should come look. Well, when we were still dating, but we had the house together. And I'm like, look, I want chickens or I want this dog. And I somehow had convinced my wife, we did laps around the Tractor Supply for 45 minutes. And I somehow convinced my wife that the only way we could leave that store that day
was dog or chicken.
Was we either get the special needs dog or we get a half dozen chickens. And we left with the chickens.
Nice.
But we were so hungry. Gaslighting someone is a lot of work, right? And it makes you really. It's like you burn a lot of calories. So we were really hungry. So we got the chickens all set up in like their little bin, their little brooder that we had built for them. You know, we got home because they give it to you in the box. Have you ever gotten like a meal at KFC? And it comes in that little box that like folds out, right?
Yeah.
That's how they send you home with a half dozen baby chicks because they're tiny. They were day-old
chicks.
chicks.
Yeah, we have got little ducks before. So
I've
seen the process.
Yeah, so it's the same box. So we were really hungry, so we ended up getting KFC after. This is before my wife started eating gluten-free.
So chicken in box right next to each
Yeah,
other.
so it's like, but like I love chickens, but like when we get a rotisserie chicken, I'm not man enough to carve up the rotisserie because it looks too much like a chicken.
And you love your chickens.
I love my chickens. Like I could never imagine eating my chickens. They have names.
My girlfriend's family, they have chickens. and my girlfriend's a vegetarian.
Oh.
So
I couldn't
she
do the
loves her
vegetarian.
chickens and
Yeah.
eats her she'll eat the eggs, but she just is like, she don't want to eat the chicken. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I killed a deer. I like the fish.
Yeah.
I'll slaughter an
Yeah, I
animal
love
if
doing.
I'll
I
eat
love
it.
doing. So I love. I want to go deer hunting again because it's like
I did it once this year. It was awesome.
deer. I think like deer get into rut and they run out in front of your car and they fuck your car up and they're really dumb because they're dumb and horny. But like when you go into the woods, it's really amazing to be an apex predator and go out into the woods when you are out of your element and you're in their element. Mm-hmm. And it's like if I ever shot a deer, not only would I want to use every bit of meat from that deer, but I'd want to get the head mounted because it's like I'd want to be like every time someone was in my house looking at that deer head, I'd want to be like, look, I have so much respect for this animal that we got in a psychological battle
And you paid
with
money
each other.
to keep him around.
Not so much that, but like the idea
you
that
cared
like
enough to get it
yeah,
done.
but that like I have so much respect for this animal right here because we were in a psychological battle for hours and I won barely. Mm-hmm. And it's like that's what like the beauty of like deer hunting and stuff is to me. And it's like people don't understand like how much time and effort and money most hunters put into like conservation of like the environment and animals and stuff, and how much we respect. I don't want to say we because I haven't been hunting in a while. I don't feel I can't.
I only went the one time. But what I liked the most was when the guy actually, my friend Sean, who taught me how to gut the deer.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing it. You just have to talk me through it.
Did you do
the?
Oh, I was about to say there's a golf ball trick where if you cut around. I don't want to gross anybody out listening. There's a trick. Talk to me later. There's a golf ball trick where you use a golf ball and a hook, and it takes care of everything.
Oh, it takes all the skin off and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't skin it. I took it to Dumas.
Okay.
But like,
All right.
I field dressed it, and I got like the heart out, and I ate the heart. And
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's something I want to do where I can have a buck that I'm proud of that I have mounted, and they'll be like, this buck is one of the biggest badasses I ever met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's important to me. But anyway, sorry. Back to comedy. How I got started in comedy. So I just I've always used humor as a coping mechanism because I've gone through a lot of shit. I've gone through medical shit. I've gone through like the abuse shit. I've gone through like problems, other issues, whatever that we don't have to get into now. But like humor's always been a coping mechanism. It's something nobody can ever take away from you.
Yeah.
My grandfather told my mom that passed down to me is like, they can never take away what you've got up here. Mm-hmm. And it was just always important for me. Like humor's always been very important to me, and I've always loved stand up. Yeah. And
that's one of the reasons I love stand up is like my individuality is very important to me.
Yeah.
And individuality is this very strange thing in today's time. Everyone is so focused on being such a unique individual that they've all become the same.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's very weird how atomized we've gotten, and yet how non-individualized we are.
When you think too much about being a different individual, you are so focused on being different that you're acting just like everyone else.
Right.
There's this balance between not following the main trend and also just doing what feels right to yourself, not what feels like it's different.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I ended up at comedy. It feels different, but it felt like something that was very me.
Yeah, it's the thing that feels like I have to put a lot of effort into comedy. Like I spend a lot of time practicing. I spend time agonizing over the order of words I use, what words I use, everything, and it feels really satisfying. Like I love writing about cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is gonna sound really pretentious, and I apologize in advance. But like I've always been really good at writing, and I've always been really good at expressing myself through words in that way, to the point where it's not fulfilling necessarily.
Just
to write an article or something. Like when I work on like a bigger project, like a magazine article, like a 1,200 word article, or like a book or something.
It's more satisfying.
It's more satisfying, but when I'm just writing articles, I'm like, this is paying the mortgage. This is paying the car note. This is paying whatever. But it's not satisfying because it comes easily to me. Like I have to put effort into comedy, and I'm good enough at it, I'd like to think, that I see results from putting that effort in. Yeah. And that's satisfying to me. Yeah. Like the sweat equity makes it good. It's the same reason I love working on cars. It's the same reason I love anything else, is that I've had to put effort into it, and it feels good. But yeah, like, I don't know, like, do you want to talk about like influences, whatever?
Yeah, let's talk about, let's talk about a couple influences, and then we'll talk about We'll just give you a shout out on your socials after that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Let out.
So I guess like I love Jeff Foxworthy. He doesn't get as much credit. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for how good he is actually as a writer and as a student of stand-up comedy. Like, he's got so much respect for the art of it.
Yeah.
And because he got famous with the "you might be a redneck" one-liners, people don't take him seriously. Like, he started writing the "you might be a redneck" lines on this piece of paper, and I guess his wife took that dirty piece of notebook paper and put it in a frame, and it's next to the front door of their home.
That's
because she's
amazing.
like, "You might be a redneck," bought this fucking ranch, this compound that we're living in, right?
That's amazing.
But, like, for him, like, if you've seen any documentary where he's featured or any interview with him or whatever, he's got such a respect for the art of it. And it's just the way that he can write. There's two things that he does that I really appreciate. And it's when and I've talked about this on, like, Brown Petri Dish with Brandon Petrie and John Brown, two guys I love.
We've had both of them on
Yeah,
this
they're
show.
fucking fantastic. They're the greatest people in the
talks.
world.
Me and John had a super interesting, like, super political one. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
If you're into, like, talking about
Fucking
political
John
stuff,
and I
check that one
agree.
out.
John is such a good guy, and he's so good. Like, nuance is so fucking hard to find in discourse these days. And, like, John and I agree on nothing, but it's like we can have a conversation. Like, I would fucking take a bullet for John or Petrie. Probably you too. I mean, it's whatever. I don't have anything to live for. Anyways, I'm kidding. I love my wife. I love all the things I'm supposed to care about. Whatever.
I mean, we have those 6 chickens. Somebody has to pick up the eggs.
Right. I'm down to 3 now.
Oh, you got raccoons and
No,
whatnot.
actually, we had. It's a whole fucking deal, but we've got one of the original ones and her 2 roommates. But we tried to do one on our own, and she didn't like it. So, anyways, that's for another. When you have me back, I hope I can be back. We'll talk more chickens when I come back. But, what was I? Oh, I was talking about Foxworthy and how, like, Foxworthy's really good at setup, punchline, tag, and all of them hit.
Yeah.
He's got this bit about.
That's why I'm super obsessed with Norman right now. Is the way he tags his jokes is
Yeah,
so
it's
brilliant.
I love that, and it's economical. It's economical because your setup takes a lot of time without a laugh. You can get little laughs during your setup. At least that's the way I do it. But your punchline's your big laugh. But if you can keep tagging off of that, that's great. And he's really good at that. And he's also really good at being, hey, here's my lifestyle, and it's not your lifestyle, but I'm going to make you feel like you're a part of it for the duration of the time I'm on stage.
Yeah.
And the clip that I brought to Brown Petri Dish that we didn't really get to listen to much, but it was at Dangerfields. Like, I think it was opening weekend at Dangerfields. I could be wrong. But it was late 80s Dangerfields, and he talks about his redneck family and about how if they were to go to a nude beach in the like on the south of France, right? Or in the south of France. I don't know why I said on. I'm drunk. Buzzed. But he talks about how they're such rednecks that they'd be like, hey, y'all got any red wigglers?
Red wigglers, like the worm?
Right. And it's fishing bait. It's bait for fishing.
Yeah.
But the way he tells the joke is he doesn't say, I know you don't get this, so let me explain it to you. He uses context so effectively to make all of these New Yorkers go, oh, we're rednecks now, too. Now, I'm not telling you who I am. Now we're all part of this together. And the way he can bring people together that way is, like, it's really important to me. And I love that. I love when I feel like I've done that effectively in my set. So when I get to the end of my set and I get to the stuff where kind of the message that the whole end of my set is that, look, all of us have a 15-year mortgage and a 72-month truck payment and a 401k, and our kids are going to school and our $65 a month minimum credit card payment and whatever. And all of these things that we're tied to and all these responsibilities that we have, and we've got something that covers that responsibility, and that is the thing, that is the one, like, we are just all comfortable enough, barely comfortable enough to keep us from making pipe bombs and sending them to politicians and captains of industry. And that's, like, the whole point of the last part of my set is that, like, we are all just upset, vaguely, and we're not sure at what, but we're just comfortable enough. And acknowledging that is somehow freeing. Acknowledging that we still have a little bit of that caveman in us, all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter.
I know people who have more cavemen than others.
Right. But my point is, like, it's not like a man it's not a masculine or feminine thing. It's not a black or white thing. It's not a religious thing. It's not anything. It's just the fact that if you have a middle class life in America, I feel like there is just that little bit of you that's in the back of your head, very quiet, but it's fucking screaming, going, this isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Something's off.
Yeah.
And it's just acknowledging that is freeing, and it somehow keeps you... But it's like, it's such a great feeling when I go in front of a crowd of like 60, 80, 100 people, and they're with me on that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like all of us feel a little bit better. It's like, okay, I'm good for another year or two.
Yeah. Exactly.
Without doing something drastic. I mean, like, Aldous Huxley has this great quote, and I think it's from Brave New World. I think. But it's basically pointing out that, like, the idea of mental illness, of, like, how we acknowledge people as being mentally ill and put them in institutions. This is, back in the early 20th century. But the idea that people that were totally okay with how unnatural, like, the unnatural way we are living now, and the unnatural way they were living at the birth of the Industrial Revolution, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is just that is not
what...
we're not evolved to live the way we're living now.
Yeah, we can't keep up with our systems.
Right, and the way that, and the fact that there are people that are perfectly okay with that, and perfectly, like, adapted to that, like, those are the mentally ill people.
Yeah.
And I wish I could remember the quote exactly, but I'm not smart enough to, whatever. But...
It's just that's after a couple IPAs.
Yeah, it's hard. But that's basically like the crux of like a lot of what I do with stand up is that like the crux of a lot of what I do with stand up all comes back to all I wanted was to be left alone. I just stop. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, don't take...
Just leave me... Let me...
It's almost a reminder of don't take everything so serious.
Right,
right. That's my message.
Let me grill.
It's all
Let me mow my lawn. Let me change my oil. Let me shovel my neighbor's driveway because my neighbor helped me with the leaves last winter. Just leave me alone. And it's just like, leave me alone, or eventually I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to mail pipe bombs to politicians. And that's basically like the majority of what I do. But it's just like a lot of
with
it
all those
is just...
car parts you probably have.
Right, but true. But my point is that like I try to wrap all of my comedy up in like harmless things that it's a funny joke to a lot of people, but for certain people that are really paying attention, they're like, yeah, like I get that on a different level.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want anybody to feel left out. I want to tell jokes that maybe not everybody can identify with 100%, but everybody can understand that there are people like me and other people sitting next to them, maybe in the audience, that live that way. And it's like, I think like the greatest feeling is that when you perform in front of a crowd that's not your crowd, that's not predisposed to like you.
Yeah.
A crowd that is so
different. Every crowd I've ever done.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there you go. But like when you can get that crowd on your side and you can get that crowd to start laughing because they can start identifying with you is like the greatest feeling, because it's like I feel like everything is designed to be divisive. Like I feel like there's a lot of social engineering going on that is designed to be divisive, that is designed to make us think we don't like each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
And again, you go back to that whole this oligarchy that's running everything. But I definitely feel like there is this like very like engineered system of we're not supposed to get along with each. We don't want the poors getting along with each other, and it's like reminding everybody that like no, we're all human beings. We're all dealing with variations on the same shit. This is the variant of my bullshit that I'm dealing with. And as I'm telling jokes about the bullshit that I'm dealing with, I said shit. But the bullshit that I'm dealing with will make you think like, oh, that's not too different from the bullshit that I'm like. You think that's bullshit? Like I'm dealing with this fucking bullshit. You're dealing with this fucking bullshit.
Exactly. None of us are on Bezos' rocket in space with them. You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We're all in Cuyahoga Falls on a Wednesday night.
Maybe, Duke, one day. Maybe not one of us will be on that rocket with Bezos, but maybe one of our pipe bombs will be on that rocket with Bezos. That's a fucking great place to wrap it up.
Yeah, that is.
Because any further and I'm going to get a fucking visit from somebody in a suit.
Yeah, you are. We just got watch listed, and we got 2 hours and 29 minutes on this pod.
Jesus, that's a great time to cancel it. Hey, be sure to watch me race every Tuesday night. Root me on. I've got my Marty Robbins paint scheme. Check me out at Low Class Yuppie on Twitter, even though Twitter's a fucking cesspool. At Cam VanDerHorst on Instagram. And if you send me your request at Cam VanDerHorst on Facebook, it's real hard to make friends in your 30s. I'll probably say yes.
Especially if you know his cousin who's a prince overseas somewhere.
I have a print. I do have a name that sounds like very regal, right? Like I'm going to get accidentally mailed a pipe bomb. I'll be like, wow. How the tables turn.
How the turn have tabled.
All right, well, I got to piss again, so
Yep.
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. You can't see us on the camera, but thanks for checking out Duke It Out. Every week we'll be coming at comedians, we've got entrepreneurs, we've got music artists, we've got a whole lot coming up this year. It's going to be a very exciting year for the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, and, have a good time. I don't know.